Hey guys, I'm Mike.
I'm Bob.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Daniel from the Blue Square.
Yes.
And this is the Board Game Rundown. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, where we cover games from the ground up. And we got a guest this week. It is Daniel from Around the Board. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
I feel like we were long overdue in inviting you to be on because I know that you and I messaged a while ago back and forth about collaborating, and then nothing ever kind of happened. So
yeah, which is pretty much a summary of our show. We have a lot of grand ideas, and then nothing actually happens.
No judgment here. No judgment
here.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Right. I mean, you guys are probably pretty close to not our demographic, but the way you're structured. We have 4 or 5 people who have to get together all at once. And man, scheduling that is just a headache sometimes.
It's like a D&D group. It's impossible.
Get D&D group in your 30s and 40s. You know, your 20s, not as many responsibilities. You can be pretty set schedule.
Right.
Yeah, you start getting a little older, and it's like, wait, I have this. Oh, wait, I have this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That first kid pops out, and all of a sudden, that D&D group is gone.
It's toast. Yep. It's a TPK right there.
That's right. So I had to mention, I just saw you guys waving, and I've been watching a couple of your shows, and I noticed you keep waving at the camera, and I'm like, why are you guys always waving? And now I figured it out. People are saying hi.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll comment. If we can't, it's at least acknowledgement with a wave. So we got one of the Rossies in the house. I bet the other one will pop in tune.
Oh, Donnie said he couldn't. He's out of town, so he is with us in spirit tonight.
Oh, all right.
So I told him we would make the show boring so he wouldn't miss anything.
That's good.
Well, you picked a great guest for that.
No. He said he didn't think that was possible. So you still have to perform.
Okay, I'll take it. I thought I had an out.
So Tim put out a kind of a blast to what do you call it, Tim? Signal boosting, or rising tide raises all ships, and Daniel was one of the ones that heeded the call. And so we definitely want to talk about your channel and what you guys do. And of course, you picked a fun topic about IPs as well.
Why did I do that? I got a stupid comment thing on here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get rid of it. Please go on, Daniel.
Okay. No, I had to pick IPs because I am definitely known as the Marvel fanatic. I've been doing comic books since I was 10 years old. It's kind of the nerdy hobby that I've always done by myself. I can't find anybody else who enjoys it, which then when I enjoyed board games and I found out there's these really cool IP games, I buy them all. And no one will play them with me. So it's kind of an ongoing joke about how I have the worst game taste because all I want to play is games that have pasted on Marvel themes, which I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't care what you paste on, which game it is. Give me a Marvel theme. I will buy it and I will support it. I am lobbying right now for a Terraforming Marvel. And I want a Terraforming game where you're actually setting up the comic books and you're playing out the panels. I think it would work fantastic. I told Stephen Bonacore in a chat once. He probably ignored it and had no idea what I was talking about. But I planted the seed.
Well, I think I just heard Simon fire up the printers again, so they're ready.
Yeah, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see pictures of my room, and Simon Marvel United is plastered everywhere. Funkos are plastered over there. Marvel Champions over here. It's everywhere. My friends like to call this the nerd museum when they walk into my game room. So I definitely live up to that hype. So, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my show since you guys tossed that to me, and then I totally didn't talk about my show at all. Yeah, so I am one of 4 hosts of a show called Around the Board. If you are a sports, there you go. If you are a sports fan at all, this might sound kind of familiar. We definitely totally did not rip off Around the Horn.
Why would you?
But we totally did. Yeah.
Yeah. Just give us a rundown on it, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. We do have a nice little rundown, but yeah, no, that's the whole point is we were like, you know what? There's enough review channels out there. Top 10 lists are my absolute favorites, but everybody does those too, including the Board Game Rundown, which I mentioned earlier. I think they do some of the best top 10 videos. I love to watch them. But we were like, let's do something different. So what we do is we pick 4 topics, and then we actually kind of debate what like we debate these topics, and we have a behind the scene judge who gives us points, kind of arbitrary, based on the things he likes and the things he wants to hear. And at the end, whoever wins, we get 2 minutes to say whatever we want, to rant about whatever we want, or just talk about peanut butter and jelly, which happened once with Andy, and we'll never let him down.
There you go.
Where did this come from?
So it's kind of like the what is that? Whose line is it anyway? Where the
points are arbitrary and
they don't mean anything. Yeah,
100%.
Right.
Yeah. But the points totally do matter because we get our Green Square Andy. There is a debate whether or not he actually tries to win or not, because he gets very filibustery, and then we have to shut him down. He's like, no, I don't care about the points. I don't care. And we're like, we're not so sure about this.
That's why you got to give, like, in Around the Horn, you got to give them the timer. So you got like 30 seconds to talk, right? Make your point, and then yeah. I can hear the sound effects from Around the Horn as we speak, like boop, 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 as they move. Yeah,
I know.
Points are going up and down. And
exactly. And you might have heard the news. They're actually closing up shop this year.
Yeah.
This is the last year of Around the Horn.
Also, just like Around the Horn, Tim just got muted.
Oh. Would you turn into Tony Reale all of a sudden? Come
Hey, we got you the rundown bump. We got you at least 1 sub. So there you go. Wayne is also part of a great show called the Beans and Dice podcast. They put on a really great show as well.
Great. I called into their show last week. It was fun. We talked a little trash. I had a good time.
Bean and Dice is what
Beans,
that's called?
Beans and Dice. Yeah. And they have a call-in portion of their show that is incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's the best way to get Mike to shut up. No.
Many have tried. Few have succeeded.
So are you guys seeing these comments on YouTube? Is that where all the comments are coming from?
Yes.
All the comments
are coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
It's just weird on StreamYard. The guests can't see the comments, so that's another reason why we try to highlight them when they come in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can see them live on YouTube.
Cool. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about the show just really quick is I said that we don't really want to do top 10s. Well, we kind of diverted a little bit, and we actually started to do a few top 10s, but we do them in a very unique way as well, which I think if enough people kind of got wind of what we were doing, I think they would really take off. And we do a collective top 10. And we've done collective top 10s before, like the Brothers Murphs, they do that. But what we do is we actually debate it on the spot, and we are making the top 10 list right there. And we each get 2 vetoes.
Nice.
And we have to use those vetoes very sparingly. Mm-hmm. And there's a great example of the American episode. I'm not going to get into politics, but I do have to mention this one thing. We did the best American games, and we went like played chicken, and somebody nominated Trump the board game, and we just all stared at each other. Nobody used their thing. We were like, John, you're gonna have to live with that pick. You're gonna live with it, and you're gonna play that game, and you're gonna wear that mantle.
So have any of you guys played it?
Fun. I actually have not.
I've owned it since way back in the day, and I've played it. And I mean, like, yeah, it's Monopoly-ish, but properties are big, and you're actually sliding money into the properties, and then those properties are changing hands as you're kind of bidding and doing auctioning on them, and then you don't get to open up and get the money out till later on. And it's kind of interesting, but I'm sure you didn't.
But wait, so is there like a community chest card where you can like defraud charities, or is that the expansion? Sorry,
you pull all the money out and then put it in your pocket, and then you put the business back up for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I've never played the game, and the only experience I've ever had with it was, and it's not even an experience, but it's from Flip the Table podcast. Did you guys ever listen to that podcast? They ended it after 5 years, but I highly recommend you guys go and listen to it. They purposely seek out bad intellectual property games and they review them in a very real way. And the Trump the board game, this was even before he was a political figure. They reviewed it and they were like, this is one of the worst games we have ever played in our lives.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Now I just
really
want
know about that game.
Now I just want to intentionally review some really terrible games.
Well, I mean, we could just go get a bunch of mass market stuff and trash it. Yeah.
That's very true. And we might be talking about some of those very horrible games today in our top 5 list because I stretched. I wanted to make sure I didn't just pick 5 Marvel games. I'm actually looking at some interesting IP games that hooked me. So
nice.
Yes,
I can dig it.
Decided to talk outside the box today. You had another group that you wanted to talk about as well, and I've got that one pulled up here. Oh, I got to answer questions and participate though.
Oh, yeah, just whatever. Just do whatever. Concordia is your favorite board game, eh? Okay,
one of them.
Don't let Mike in. He's a troll.
No, I definitely will let you in. And here soon, FBC Gamers is going to be around the board. I have 2 groups. This is a group I started about 10 years ago, and it started as a local group. And we meet every once a month, second Fridays. And it has expanded into a great community, largely local, but now we're merging it with Around the Board. So we hope to expand that reach. And this weekend, in 2 days, we're actually running a convention we call FBC GameCon, and it's the best 2 days in gaming in Kansas, and
that's very specific,
and specifically Eastern Kansas. So no, it's fine. It needs to be that specific. No, but it's great. It's actually one of I'm not just patting myself on the back, but we hear it all the time. This is one of the best cons. We get just about 300 people. We're keep growing and we keep hoping to get more. But it's a free convention. That's the first thing that's great about it. Mm-hmm. And the second thing that is great about it is we give over this year, we're going to be giving away over 400 games. And these are games that I will say when you walk in, you're just going to be given a game. We have a wheel, you get to spin it. And there's actually some really good games on that wheel this year. In the past, there's been some they're games we got for $1, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But inside the convention, we give away the best of the best. Like I'm looking at right now, like we're giving away SETI, Vendetta, Thunder Road Vendetta, Rebirth, Wavelength. We're giving away Tales to Amaze, and our grand prize is going to be the Dark Tower. Wow. All of this is absolutely free. We just get a tons of sorry, my phone is ringing, which is my camera. But it's not messing anything up. Okay, sorry, it just distracted me. Anyway,
no, you're good.
So we give all this away. It is completely free. We also have scheduled events every 30 minutes. And also, we make sure that we have what we call game liaisons. They actually walk around the convention. So if you look confused, lost, lonely, they will make sure you get plugged into a game. They will they're not going to force anybody to play with you, but essentially they're going to be like, yeah, let's go look to see if there's an open table. Because you know how it is in cons when somebody walks in.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I don't really want to introduce myself to that group of people. They look like they're having fun, Well, it is a set expectation that you walk in, you are going to play a game at FBC GameCon. And then on top of that, games every 30 minutes. So there's no excuse. You will not come to our convention and leave disappointed or empty-handed.
And when is that?
It's a great time. It's actually this Friday and Saturday, 9 to 10. So,
boy, that's 1 hour. You guys got 1 hour to get in, and
every half hour, it's only 2 games. I mean, that's not really the brag you think it is.
Get the hell out! This was free. What did you expect?
That's right.
That's right. No,
if it's obvious and I'm just missing it, I apologize. But what does FBC stand for?
Okay, yeah. So FBC, it's not obvious. I will tell you the board game answer is it stands for Fellowship Board Game Club. But what it actually stands for is I started this out of my church, and my church is called Fellowship Bible Church. So we just kind of co-opted their name and their logo as well. If you can kind of see the meeples around the little cross. Like that's literally our church's symbol, but they used to have little houses there. And we're just like, we're going to replace the houses with the meeples.
Don't worry. Churches have never co-opted anything before ever. So you're cool. Yeah. You're good.
Exactly.
You're in the clear.
It's all good.
You are in the clear.
Easter coming up.
Yeah. And Rudder's right. No, all right. Everybody pile into the van. We're going to take a road trip to Kansas.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm telling you, it's worth it. We actually, one podcaster that I've met through the course of Around the Board is Joe Bragg from Christian Board Gaming Podcast. He actually it now officially works with the organization called Love Thy Nerd.
Oh, I know Love Thy Nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they travel to different conventions and they help out with the conventions. Well, me and Bragg have formed a friendship online, and he's been on our show a couple times. He's actually driving from Michigan down here in the capacity of Love Thy Nerd, and he's going to help us out. So, which we're super excited. So, Joe, if you're watching this, hope to see you in a couple days.
Yeah, whereabouts?
Meet, so that'd be cool.
Whereabouts in Michigan, and I need a specific address. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. It's pretty far up there because I know they have a game changer retreat.
Yeah, it might be up in the UP or something.
Yeah, it's in the index finger. I think it's by Grand Rapids because they have a Game Changers retreat, which they are promoting, and I wouldn't be shocked to see that become a bigger event. Okay. But he helps organize that, and he's
Grand Rapids, an hour and a half away.
Is he going to Grand Con? Yeah. Do you know?
I don't know.
Let's just ask Daniel all the questions that we should be asking this gentleman instead.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids is about 2 hours away, and
so he loves to talk.
Oh, that's cool.
Grand Con is pretty fantastic, and Grand Rapids is actually not that far away.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. I've heard of Grand Con.
It's Indianapolis far.
Yeah. And I've been to Indianapolis at least once to go to Gen Con. Last year. First year we went. So, yeah, I could get up there.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's cool though. I love it. I love that. That idea of having people to help make sure that people get to play games. Because I know when we go to conventions, if we're sitting and playing games and we're at tables and you are unfortunate enough to make eye contact with us, we tend to pull people in.
Yes.
Because we just like hanging out and playing games with people. But
right.
But I think like having like people actively like walking around and facilitating that is a great idea. So
yeah, it really is. Like we not joke, but the game giveaways are such an appeal. We're giving away 100 quality games. We're also sponsored by All Play as well. They donated 52 games to us as well, and tons of bags. So we get tons of games, and I will admit that's the number one appeal. But why people say it's the funnest convention is because of that liaison, because people are getting in there and you will.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, it sounds like an upgraded old school Geek Way to the West.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, you used to pay for that, but they used to give you a game when you went in there. There was tons of like play to win type games that you got for free, and it was mostly about playing games. It wasn't like Gen Con where it's called to the new. It was just about going and playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best.
Exactly. That's definitely what we're doing. And I would like to go to Geek Way to the West. It's only like 4 hours away from me, but I haven't been up there yet. I'm hoping maybe next year.
Isn't All Play kind of local to you? Aren't they Midwest? I thought.
Kansas, they are.
Kansas City.
Yeah, they're in Lenexa, Kansas, and I'm in Gardner, Kansas. So that's like 20 minutes away, essentially.
Right on.
Kansas City. When you say Kansas City, there's the suburbs, of course. We both live in the suburbs of that. So yeah, they're definitely local. That's why they're so favorable to us. And we've had a good relationship with them over the years. So
I love that they're supporting local cons. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they really do. And they also help out another convention called Meeple-a-thon, which is one that happens here locally as well. And they do board game auctions and in a convention style. And it all goes to charity. It goes to boys and girls clubs they changed it recently, but essentially young people without homes, not necessarily kids, but like that aging out of like being 18 and now they're kind of on their own. Like they're helping raise funds for that. So All Play also helps with them a lot as well.
My wife works for a nonprofit that does a similar thing in Indiana. So yeah, familiar with that concept.
With board games or with something else?
No. With helping youth, youth that are aging out of foster care. Like that's kind of like
gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No, that was great. I love it. And yeah, it was interesting that this Meeple-a-thon popped up because they do stuff like that because our church actually focuses in that as well. Like we have people who go there who are totally involved in that process of trying to find homes for people, trying to find sponsor families that will take them in and stuff like that too. So it was kind of cool that we stumbled upon Meeple-a-thon because we were like, how did we not know about you guys? This is like a great cause, and
that's awesome.
Mixes very well with what my other life is doing, which is what I do with my church and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So but I gotta, this was kind of a serious topic, which I'm glad we got into, but now I see that you're scrolling through my my Facebook feed, and I have to point out what this is here. This is the other thing that I will just geek out about, and I'm one day I'm going to make a bunch of videos about these, but I have to get my other guys on board, and that is we do March Madness of board gaming, and it's kind of what it sounds like. What I do is we get 4 different people from our group, and they give me their top 16 board games of all time. And then we pit them against each other via people voting which game they would like to play. So
there you go.
We're in the sweet the elite final 16, sweet 16. 2, 4, 6, 8. No. We're in the elite 8 right now. These are the elite 8. So these are the finals of the brackets. And we give, if you vote on which one you get randomly entered into a contest to win a $50 gift card to another local sponsor, which is Mission Board Games. And then everybody also has the option, when this all started, they actually had the option to fill out a prediction bracket.
Oh, nice.
And then every day we update that prediction bracket to show who's in the lead and all that stuff. And whoever wins at the end gets a $100 gift card to Mission Board Games again.
Wow, nice.
As a March Madness junkie, I love this. This is great.
It is. Yeah, it's really fun. Make sure you join FPC Gamers and participate next year. I mean, you can participate the rest of this year as well, but next year fill out a bracket. It's a lot of fun. So and I got a bunch of stats that I like to go over. I haven't shared them with anybody, but I've been compiling them. So as you can see, like Century's been in there for 3 years, Viticulture's 2 years. I also have how many points they've received over the life of being in the competition. Now the one catch though is if they've won before, they can't be in the competition ever again.
Okay.
Because the first 2 years we did it,
it's just like the same.
Won both years. Yeah, so we were like, okay, well, we're gonna retire them. And sorry guys, my computer needs to charge here.
Nope, do your thing.
Yeah,
I've never had computer issues on this show, so I will sit in judgment.
Right? For real. Here, I'm gonna get up for a second. I'm sorry, guys. My apologies.
No worries.
This is why we don't do a live show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's trickier than it appears, but we make it look easy though, right, guys?
Yeah. Well, the truth is, you guys had a show going for 3 years before we tried the live thing, and there were several hiccups along the way. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is.
I'm impressed at how smooth you guys do this. I was freaking out, to be honest, because again, I have a convention in 2 days. I have work stuff as well, and then I was getting prepared for this, and I was like, "Why did I agree to this 2 days?"
Oh no! Sorry.
And I'm thinking, like, I have to. No. I love that I did it. I'm so glad because I got to also talk about my convention. So maybe someone locally or not too far away will come and join us.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. But I was panicking because I was like, I can't get there 5 minutes before we start because they're surely going to have as many issues as we do. But you guys were, it was up. It was up and running. We were like, oh my gosh, I never recorded something this quick before. It usually takes us like 2 hours to get started.
It took us a while to get this smooth, to be honest. And there's still days where there's headaches.
Oh yeah. Tim, as long as Tim remembers to feed a hamster, we're usually pretty good.
My internet hamster is fed. We should be good.
Just kind of going through these and pitting the games against each other. This was the first one that really is making me like, oh my gosh, that is a hard decision, and it's making me reevaluate my top 50 because Lords of Vegas is like in the 30s for me all time. We recently played Slay the Spire and reviewed it for the first time, and it's in there. It's up
baller.
there.
It's
fantastic.
good. Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. Not that it's apropos of tonight's list or anything.
No, not at all.
I will say, spoiler, I didn't consider Slay the Spire an IP game. I should have, but I didn't just because it was kind of already a board game. It was just like a video board game. So or else it would be on my list, but I dismissed it. But if it's on your guys' list, I'm there for it.
Not going to veto it.
So,
it's not a matter of if, but who will have it on their list tonight. I'll just say that now.
Daniel, also let me just give you the pass right now, just so you know. Please, if you even slightly disagree with either of Mike or Bob's picks, not mine, but Mike or Bob's, please just go full throat right at them. Just take them down for what a terrible pick it is. Yeah. That's fine.
I love it.
Fine. It's allowed.
Yeah, okay. Well,
it's allowed.
The invitation is mutual. Again, that was kind of the premise of our show. Is we love to argue with each other,
That's
and
the
we
point,
love to make each other angry. So no, I love it. I won't hold back.
Oh, here we go.
Definitely got to highlight another inquisitive Carlos question here.
Man, he's always coming with the.
He is.
He really does. How much creative freedom should publishers have when working with established IPs, or any at all?
Well, I guess asking people that are just content creators and not game designers, not to place that assumption on you, Daniel, but
no, I'm just a content creator. Not even that. I'm a
no, don't sell yourself short. I think it's a couple things, right? It depends on the IP. Like, are you porting a video game? If you're porting a video game, you probably want to try to keep it as true to that vibe as possible. If you're doing like a TV show or a movie or a book, I think you've got a lot of flexibility, just kind of depending on what you're trying to do with it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, see, I'd kind of push back against that because, like, look at Red Rising. If you read the books are fantastic, and then you play that game, and it's like, man, there's so many cool things they could have done with that game that. It's not. I don't.
No, but they tried something. I'm just saying. Do you think it would have been better if they tried to make a game that
you might as well just call it Scout and make it about recruiting people to your hand?
Well, I mean, honestly, they just might as well call it Fantasy Robs. But more to the point, Bob, I guess, is how much creative license should they have? I'm not saying that they all are good. I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, Red Rising is based on a book. So they didn't do what you would have liked because that game doesn't feel like it's anything that's happening in the book.
Yeah, right. Because it doesn't feel like anything happening in the book.
Right. Where like the Game of Thrones board game feels very Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. And also
that's easier to port over too.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get too far, I'm not sure if you guys highlighted this or not. But we will be on the full 42 next Monday with the Googs and Chris Strain. So
we will be our favorite games from 2015, if I'm not
correct. Research for that one because I
actually got to research for that one. Usually, like most of the time, I come up with these lists like that. That one, it's like 2015.
Right.
There's an easy way to do that on BGG.
Yeah, no, we're totally gonna use that.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
What's this BGG? No, just kidding.
Yeah.
EG what? Yeah.
Hey, I want to chime in on the IP thing. So it's kind of a weird decision here because it's who is making the creative decision is probably what matters. I think Slay the Spire was so successful probably because the people who designed it, the video game, also were integral in doing the board game as well. So I think they also had some influence in Netrunner as well. So these people definitely had a mind for board games and they knew what they wanted. But you get into some of this stuff, like the Marvel stuff, there's no Marvel, like the, editor-in-chief, Joe Quesada. I don't think that's the editor-in-chief anymore, but it used to be. But like, he's not the one going in there going, no, that doesn't work. That's not what this character would do. It's some like guy in a suit that's like, that doesn't look right. Change it, or I don't want that thing to say that. So it's probably more about who you want to. But if you actually had the creator, the person who actually thought of the idea, actually involved in it, I think they should have complete control, or at least a lot of it. And I think they would actually see the creativity of the board game publisher, and they'd probably let them do a lot more as well. And because I think that was actually the story with Jamey Stegmaier as well, is he liked that IP so much, he went out and asked for it. And I think that the designer was like, yeah, go for it. You can do what you want. I don't know if there was any checking on each other there, but I think creativity noticed creativity, and you got a better game for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do not know enough about how Red Rising came about, but Slay the Spire, I know, like on the box, right? It's like it says Mega Crit on there, like, so like it's like they had something to do with it. And if you play that game, it is a pretty straightforward port of the video game. So yeah, it makes sense.
Which works great. And then to like back up that idea, I think you see it actually in the MCU. There was obviously there was Marvel movies before Iron Man and the Hulk, but they were good when they came out. They don't hold much water now. Also, there were some that were panned and all that stuff. But MCU came along, and all of a sudden it's incredible. And what's the difference? They actually had the editor-in-chief. They had people from Marvel actually touching the project, and they go, no, it's different than like when they did the X-Men, and they just had kind of random X-Men, and Wolverine was the fourth one to join, and nothing about that show actually made sense to the comic book. Still great show, still loved it, but nothing about it actually made sense because there was no one there that was like actually looking at it with a creative eye and keeping that IP genuine. They let the studio do what they wanted, and you got mediocre movies. But when the studios were actually working in junction with the actual product creator, you got a masterpiece. You got gold.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes a big difference, and that's why you see a difference between especially the first phase or two of the Marvel movies versus what DC tried to do. And they tried to just fast forward and skip ahead, and it didn't work. They didn't do the groundwork, right?
Yeah.
But you're right? Like, so Marvel had like Blade, and I mean, you could even go back to like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, which was, it's great. A movie called The Punisher. It's, that's about it. And then, I mean, there was 3 different Punisher movies before they. Because you have Dolph Lundgren, you have Thomas Jane, and then you had Ray Stevenson as the other one. But then, you go back to the Captain America movie from like the late 80s, early 90s with the Red Skull. I mean, that thing's really terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, they finally Oh, go on.
Oh, I haven't actually watched those old ones because those were just like, I mean, I'm glad they attempted them, but yeah, those are just. I don't even know what to think about those. Like, I don't know if anybody was watching what was going on there.
Yeah. It's like watching the old Dungeons and Dragons movie before they finally did one right with this newer one.
Oh,
it's like,
God, and that old one isn't even that old though. I mean, it's 20.
But they've had a lot of like kind of attempts at Dungeons and Dragons types of movies.
Yeah. And The Name of the King but that's an Uwe Boll movie, so nobody should watch that anyways.
There was one Dungeons and Dragons movie that actually wasn't too bad. It didn't get a wide release though. It came out in the early 2000s.
Are you talking about the sequel to
not
the?
That one.
I was gonna say.
Let me just do a quick Google search. Let's see if I can find it. Early 2000s. Man, and there was also about this time there was one. It was a Choose Your Own Adventure Dungeons and Dragons movie as well. And that was really awesome. But obviously both of these were very, cult classics under, definitely didn't get
was a better
theatrical. Man, I'm not going to find it. I don't want to waste people's time, but there's definitely a pretty decent D&D movie out there. Oh, here it is. It's called The Wrath of the Dragon God, I think is what it's called.
Is that Dungeons and Dragons 2? Is that the sequel to the Marlon Wayans one? Yeah, I think it was. I think that came out on Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Okay, it probably is that one, but it wasn't a direct sequel by any means, and it was actually good, and it wasn't goofy. So,
Yeah, sorry, I was flexing the movie knowledge while I'm drinking from my pop culture Jeopardy mug.
There you go.
But no, unfortunately, I'm old enough that I remembered buying magazines that had stories about that Captain America movie, and I was so excited for it. And like renting the Punisher movie when it first came out, like all excited for it, and was like, this isn't the Punisher, But like you, Daniel, I'm a big Marvel guy. I used to collect comic books. It was like my first collecting thing. I don't buy them like I used to, because now I buy board games. But
exactly.
But man, I do love me good comic book IPs, and when a good comic book movie comes out, I'm so here for it. Very excited. So
yeah. Honestly, almost everyone is good for me. I will say the only Marvel movie that I actively disliked, literally the only one. I will watch any of them prior to Blade. I won't count those because those were just terrible. But everything after Blade and X-Men, the only one I hated was Thor: Love and Thunder.
You hated Thor: Love and Thunder?
Oh my gosh, I can't even explain how angry I was at that movie. Like the tip of the just badness was when Zeus prances down the steps in his like little tutu that he had, and I was just like, what is going on here? This is just absurdity on a whole different level. Like this should be a Deadpool movie. Like what is going on? So that's the only one I have actually not liked. Everything else I'm like 10 out of 10.
I really loved Ragnarok. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, Ragnarok was great.
The pacing of it and everything.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. I didn't like that it took him to more of a goofy area, but if they would have just stopped there, I would have been okay with it. But they just let him keep spiraling out of control. And I'm like, come on.
Put those Kiwis in charge of things. That's kind of what happens. It gets silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was in charge of it?
Taika Waititi.
Yep.
So he also directed Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. He was the Rock.
He was the voice of Korg.
Korg, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
He started a review.
As much as I love these movies and stuff, one thing I am actually horrible about is like actor names, the directors and all that stuff. I'm really bad at it. I'm very much like let me just watch the movie.
Tim's really good at that.
Yeah, that's my nerd obsession.
That's his bag, baby.
It is. I swear, it's not mine.
Yeah, Bella, please man.
But yeah, so who's your favorite comic book character then?
By far, well, I can't say by far anymore. For a long time, it was definitely Gambit, but I am also a die-hard Cyclops fan. Love the man. As much as I love Marvel comics, let me put that. I love comics. Then I love Marvel. Then I love the X-Men. I will nerd out about the X-Men. I can tell you, and I'm a little out of practice, so I can't tell you everything, but there was a time I could tell you everything. And yes, I stand by the whole Cyclops as one of the best characters ever written, because that man knows the vision of his leader, Professor X. He holds the X-Men together. He has sacrificed so much in his life so that the vision of mutants and humans coexisting could happen. And then as the world just keeps getting to him time and time again, it takes his son, it takes his wife, he's manipulated here, manipulated there. He finds out Professor X manipulates him. The man breaks, but he breaks in a way that is still uniquely Cyclops. And he finds this like middle ground between Magneto and Professor X. And I think that is where he just absolutely shines. And that's kind of where he's been out since probably about 2005-ish. And when I tell people it's Cyclops, they kind of look at me weird, like, really, Cyclops? And I'm like, no. It's Boy Scout, but like he got real. It's like he's Captain America. He has this ideology that's the most important thing, but he like based it in reality and realized what could actually happen and how to actually succeed in doing this. So I love that character. But Gambit's also, he's just the fun one, right? It's just fun to love him and all of the intrigue that comes with his character. Uncanny X-Men 350 was like the revealing of his secret, and that blew my childhood mind. I mean, I think that came out when I was like in a junior in high school or something like that. And oh my gosh, I could not just wait for that issue to be released. Which, hey, this is a 20-year-old spoiler, so I'm going to tell you guys what.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I don't know. I fell out of comics before they revealed it.
Yeah. So he was actually the person who was behind the mutant massacre. So that was the Murlocs. That's when the Marauders not led by, but most popularly led by Sabretooth, went into the Murloc tunnels, killed just tons of mutants, and removed the wings of Angel, which then he would become abducted by Apocalypse
and become the Archangel, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that was because of Gambit. And then the whole catch of it is, why would Gambit do that? Well, Gambit was actually losing his powers, his control of his powers. And there's a run of Gambit where he did a solo series, and he actually experienced a alternate version of himself who could not control the powers. And he essentially ends up blowing up the whole world because he just supercharges everything. So now there's this dilemma of like, he went to Sinister because he's like, I'm about to like kill myself, kill everybody I love. Like, what do I do? He almost had like the very similar effect to Rogue, right? Like he couldn't even touch people anymore. So they kind of shared that bond. But he had to. So he went to Sinister. Sinister said, I will experiment on you, but I need you to get me together the most ruthless people you can find. And he said, sure, I'll do it. And he did it. He got healed. He walked away, and he never knew what happened until he becomes a member of the X-Men, and he sees all the things that happened. So now he's always standoffish because he's living with this immense amount of guilt, because he's literally the reason that so many of their lives are completely ruined, and also the murdering of hundreds of innocent children and mutants. So it was pretty rough.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm a big Mr. Sinister fan. He's one of my favorite villains. Next to the really weird that they're an X-Men villain, but I always also really liked the Brood. But I was an Aliens fan, and they're basically, it's kind of that,
It's 100% that.
So I wanted to throw it back real quick to your discussion of Cyclops. You're talking about his ideology, and me it sounded like you were saying he wanted to be lawful good, and it sounded good on paper, but then he figured out that chaotic good is kind of where it's at. It's where you get that done.
Yep, exactly. And because you can get a lot done in that, and if you don't have a rule book that you have to follow.
Exactly.
But he does have his lines. He's not going to kill humans. Yep. He doesn't think he's superior, but he's also like, yeah, but you humans do kind of suck.
Yeah. I don't do crime unless we're helping people.
Exactly.
You'll be happy to know that Cyclops is in the new Avengers movie that's coming out. Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, the Doomsday one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, James Marsden's
I hope they do him. I actually hope they do him good. And I will say this to anybody who wonders about my Cyclops fanaticism. Watch the first episode of X-Men 97. They nailed it. Like, that is the Cyclops that is in the comic books. And anybody who doesn't read the comic books and who is confused by it, watch that episode. It'll clear things up. He is a great character and very powerful leader. So, yeah.
Right on.
I don't know if you guys want to share your favorite character. Tim, you asked me. Do you want to?
Oh gosh. Well, my favorite Marvel character is, as a kid, was always Spider-Man. If we get out of the Marvel universe and just kind of open it up, God, I don't know. There's so many. I kind of go in phases, right? Like I read, because I, big, got heavy, loved Watchmen, right? You know what I mean? So pick somebody from Watchmen, awesome. Sure. So character rich. But I always loved Spidey. I just loved, the whole thing with him is he's trying to do the right thing, and he's always trying to balance his life and his, and being a hero. And it never works out, right? It's always, just feels like he's always got, he's spinning plates, and there's always one too many things. And he had my favorite Rogues Gallery out of all the Marvel heroes.
It is very deep.
And my favorite DC hero is probably the most hipster thing I will say tonight. There is a guy who is a scientist named Ray Palmer, and he found a piece of white dwarf matter that allowed him to shrink in size, but he could control his density as well. So he could be like this tall, but still be like 160 pounds. So he would like fly into people and like hit them, but it was like getting hit with all of that weight, like he's throwing his whole body at him, but it's like all condensed into a little thing. And also somehow he could travel through phone lines. That was like a thing he did. But the Atom, why not? But that's comic book logic. But in the 60s and 70s, the Atom like basically hung out with Hawkman for a long time, then disappeared, kind of came back in the early 90s, and then that's when I kind of discovered him and then went back, right? Because I was a teenager then. And so like a series came out, I started buying them up, and then I was going to the comic book stores and finding these old Atom and Hawkman and the Atom comics in the quarter bins, you know what I mean? And the, like super cheap. So I could just buy up a whole bunch of them, and then I just was able to read a bunch of it. But
nice.
I used to be my favoriteest thing ever, though, was when Marvel would do, and they did this. I don't think they do it as much anymore, but they used to do these like overarching things where it would like touch all these different comics, right? So like you would have like, X-Men was my all-time favorite one that they did. It was called X-Men Inferno. And that's when Madeline Gray, right? Or, Pryor. The clone, right?
Clone.
And then it was called Marvel Inferno, and like all these demons are showing up on Earth all of a sudden, and it's because Madeline Pryor is like opening a gate to hell, and it's like a whole freaking thing. And I was just like, this is crazy. But you could pick up a Spider-Man comic, you could pick up a Hulk comic, you could buy a Fantastic Four comic, and it was like all having this universal sort of thing happening, and it made the Marvel universe feel really small. Because normally, Fantastic Four's off fighting Galactus. Well, you never see anything about Galactus almost eating the planet, in the Captain America you just read in the same month, But like when they did in the 80s, they did 2 Secret Wars, right? The original one where the Beyonder pulls everybody, and then Secret Wars 2 when he comes to Earth and he's walking around messing shit up. And then the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Like that whole thing with Thanos, which they did a really good job of sort of updating and adapting.
For sure.
With the movies.
So I still kind of wish he worshipped death.
I do too.
That was his motivation.
I do too. Yeah. So Bob and Mike in the OG comic,
Thanos, death. He had the hots for her, right?
Yeah. Thanos worshipped death and was in love with death, wanted to impress her. So he gets the Infinity Gauntlet.
I'll that for you, huh?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, didn't work out too good for him.
Doesn't Deadpool like court death now?
Now he does,
He took her from her, so.
Yeah, but that's way... I hate
Deadpool, by the way.
You hate Deadpool?
I hate Deadpool with a passion.
Well, he used to not be what he is now.
Yes.
In the old X Factor... Or X-Force, in the old X-Force comics.
Yes.
I thought the movies were hilarious.
They are. I like them, but they're completely different than what...
See, that's why I don't read things, because then it just spoils movies.
Right. That's fair.
No, it's fine. And the Deadpool movies are fine, especially if you like crude humor. I'm okay with it, but it's not my favorite. But like, this is the problem. When it first came out, they were like, hey, this is Deadpool. Of course it's going to be crude. And I was like, no, that's not Deadpool. That's the meme that you created as a society. So no, you could go back to being this merc with a mouth who's just a mercenary. That's it. This whole fourth wall breaking nonsense, like that became internet pop culture meme. And that's actually what the movie is about. And then when they started putting that Deadpool in with the X-Men and Avengers, that just takes me off. I'm like, I don't need a talking Deadpool head as Iceman is traveling through hell and he's just mouthing off the whole time. I'm like, what is this? Like, no, I don't. That ruined the entire immersion. I mean, they were in hell because they found out Nightcrawler's dad was actually Mephisto, and they were kind of confronting him, and it was this big old ordeal, and it was very serious. And there was these heartwarming moments with Nightcrawler, who ultimately, I think they free him. That's what it was, because he had already sacrificed himself to save Cyclops, and he died, and his soul was kidnapped and went to hell. They went to hell to free him, and it was this big moment, and you have Deadpool's talking head through the whole thing.
Is
like, get out of here.
Is Nightcrawler's mom still Mystique? Did they change that?
No, it's I'm pretty sure it's still Mystique, unless I haven't been following very closely in the past 5 years.
Sure,
they did a whole like timey-wimey thing and different parallel
universes. Yeah, they've done it. They've done it a few times, right? They did that big reset in the early 2000s, and then everybody got mad and so then they kind of fixed it. Where they tried to
bring the sacred timeline back.
They did do it with the X-Men.
Well, the X-Men they left.
They did do it with the X-Men.
Yeah,
they did it with the Fantastic Four, the Avengers. Pretty much the non-mutants. The mutants actually stayed the way they were and continued forwards because the X-Men was the hottest property from like the 80s to like all the way to like 2010 until Iron Man came out. The X-Men war was it. So they were like, well, Fantastic Four sucks, Iron Man sucks, Avengers sucks. Let's reboot them. Well, then they just said, well, screw you fans, and everything you knew doesn't exist anymore. Well, they finally did that to the X-Men just recently, and essentially they did this whole thing where Mariah McTarget is actually a mutant, and her power is that she can reincarnate herself, and she relives her life. So every time she dies, she is reborn, and she gets to attempt to retry everything again. So where they're at in the current storyline is actually like the 7th reincarnation of Mariah McTarget, who like changed things to where Professor X and Professor X and Magneto joined together, and they live on Kuroko, the living island, and that's where all mutants live. But then so you had like Mr. Sinister, and it was an ally of the X-Men, and Sabretooth was an ally, and it got so weird. I heard it's a really good story. I didn't read it, but they essentially just wiped the X-Men clean, and I'm like, too old for this
anymore. I just buy like collected editions stuff, right?
Yeah,
and I kind of catch up that way. Another series of books that I like, definitely not for everybody, but Preacher was really good. I enjoyed Preacher quite a bit. That's a good show too. There's a guy, he's basically a preacher questioning everything, and he gets an angel inside of him and it allows him to tell people what to do, and they do it literally.
Yeah, I've heard it's a great story. I never got around to reading that one though, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. It sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed Preacher. All right, well, I guess we can
that's one IP.
Yeah, we can get into the list. Or Bob or Mike, favorite comic book characters?
I got a hard time narrowing down. Like, I enjoy all the new Marvel movies. When I had COVID last year for 18 days straight, I literally watched every single Marvel movie in chronological order because I had time.
Hell yeah.
And but yeah, so I like them all. I don't really have one particular favorite. If I can pick a movie, because I never got into the comics when I was young. I never really did comics. But I think Thor Ragnarok is probably one of my favorites. I do like the humor in it. I like the pacing. I think it's done really well. I enjoyed the Loki show quite a bit, especially how they did like the time travel thing where he's like, well, I don't know. He's talking to the kid from Goonies. He's like, I don't know what that is. Wait, yeah, I do. It's right here.
Yeah,
like
it's right here. Yeah,
so good. Like the way they handle the time travel. So
yeah. They actually kind of did it almost like Bill and Ted style, right? And Bill and Ted
trash can. Remember a trash can? Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
I really didn't have a ton of exposure to comics at all when I was a kid. My earliest like Marvel thing that I remember enjoying was the Hulk show with Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, man.
And so I've just always appreciated Hulk ever since then. I've always liked Spider-Man and Wolverine. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I will say though, having no ties to like the what these characters used to be, I do have to say that I actually love the Deadpool movies because I'm a massive fan of Ryan Reynolds' style of comedy.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I think he's funny.
Yeah, and he's always breaking the fourth wall, like, no matter what movie he's in.
Yeah,
but like I mean, I could understand if you're used to characters being a certain way for decades and they take a twist at some point. That would be a little jarring. I just don't have that experience. So
now, Mike, I got a question for you because you don't watch a ton of movies, but but you say you're a Ryan Reynolds fan, so you haven't seen this movie. You really should. Have you seen Just Friends?
I don't think so.
It's where he used to be fat, like in high school, and then so at the beginning of the movie, he's like chubby Ryan Reynolds, and he's really embarrassing and cringy and awkward, and he leaves town. Like, he gets embarrassed, he leaves town. and then he has to go back to his hometown, but now he looks like Ryan Reynolds, and it's really funny. So look up Just Friends. You will thoroughly enjoy it, Mike. I have no doubt you will love that movie.
Okay, I will.
I liked Waiting. It's probably my favorite.
Oh, Waiting's good, but I also worked in restaurants, so you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting is amazing.
Here's an obscure Ryan Reynolds one. It's called Buying the Cow. He's not the main person, but he's like the goofy friend in it. Fantastic. If you haven't watched that one, definitely track that one
Buying the Cow. I'm going to check that out.
Buying the Cow. Yeah. The Ryan Reynolds scenes, I'm going to spoil a little bit, is he ends up having to escape, and he shows his butt because Ryan Reynolds always shows his butt. So he's escaping down a thing, and he runs to a kid, and he goes, "Kid, I need your shirt," because he's naked. And the guy goes, "Are you Spider-Man?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm Spider-Man." And so he's like, "Give me your shirt." So the kid takes his shirt off, and then his dad walks out and goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Don't hurt Spider-Man. He's my special friend." And he's like, "Ah." That was the moment. Anyways.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so Carlos, let's get us on track. What makes a successful translation of an IP into a board game? I don't know that there's one thing for that. Because I'm looking at my list, and some of it is just like I get to see all the characters that I like from said IP, or
multiple things that can do that. So.
Yeah, or it's like, no, I feel like I'm in this universe.
Exactly.
So I guess my opinion would be like, does it
a bit of column A, a bit of column B?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yep. All right. Are we ready, Mike? You want to address that, or are we ready to go?
No. I think we are good to go. Nope.
All right.
Sorry.
So,
Mike's giving me,
as usual, we start with.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. We usually start with Bob, and we'll go clockwise, and I'll finish it off.
Okay.
You were having tech issues over there?
I'm good now. So I have this nice laptop. My son dropped it, and it messed up the charger. So sometimes I gotta wiggle it just right. So, but I think we're good. We're good now.
Gotta love kids are amazing for that.
Other people's kids are
wonderful. Yeah.
Like, here, I'm done.
Oh, I was gonna say, Bob, didn't the cops talk to you about other people's kids? Heyo.
Number 5.
Bob said it. So we'll get it rolling. We'll start with Bob's number 5.
All right. So my number 5. I don't watch a ton of anime, but one of my favorite animes has a really cool cooperative deck building game, Attack on Titan. There's a couple of different Attack on Titan games. The cooperative deck builder is fantastic. You got your different wall segments out. You're putting out your marketplace in different areas of the wall, and then you have your standee. And then the Titans are approaching from the other side of the wall and attacking, and you have to really, if you don't work together, then you are not going to win. And so you've got to really cooperate, just like the show. Like, if you don't work together, humanity is going to fall. And you're using movement points to move from area wall to wall, buying different things, and you jump outside of the wall to fight the Titans. And it's really good. And so when your character dies, because they will, you lose. You just pick another character, come out, and you jump into the city, and you keep fighting because that's what you got to do. And it's done really well. It feels like I'm watching, the show. Like it's got the characters. The art is straight out of the show. So yeah, I think we just did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I want to play this again, Bob. I remember really liking this game, but yeah, I remember also it whooped our butts. What'd you say?
Your description definitely made it sound better than I thought it was going to be. Because again, IP games, you always have to get over that IP. Is it garbage because of the IP? Maybe.
Right.
But that actually sounds like a really cool, interesting mechanic of guarding the wall.
Yep. Yeah, because the big Titans are coming in and they do damage to the wall. Once that piece of wall is gone, you lose all the cards underneath it. And you kind of shift everything down. And once you're on a wall, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else quite like it that you've played? Is there anything else quite like it that you've played?
I mean, not really. It's sort of somewhat. It's got some DC elements in it, right? Where you got like the super villains, and then you're buying the stuff to add to your deck because you got like equipments and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the flavor is different, and then there's three. You have like the movement, and then you have your fight, and you're using your fight to either buy the stuff on the one side, or you're moving to the outside of the wall and fighting the Titans, and you really have to get big attacks triggered off to take some of those big Titans out because they get large and in charge. So getting those kill shots on them can be tough.
I think it is a Cryptozoic game, so I think that's why they use that DC deck builder, Lord of the Rings deck building. Like they use that same mechanic. But you're right though. They did a really good job of sort of adapting it to the
theme. So they didn't just slap the theme on. They really adjusted some of the mechanisms to give it that feel of the show.
Right. Agreed.
That sounds much better. Yeah, Cryptozoic. That would make sense why I dismissed it. Not a big fan of the DC deck builder. Kind of thought it was like but this one sounds fun.
Oh, I love DC. I love DC deck building so much. Oh, I love it so much. It is my comfort game. That's okay. That's okay. We're still friends. We can be friends. Tim. We can be friends. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Love it though.
My top games of all time, my friends all hate. So it's cool. It's cool.
Listen, we're the same boat, right? Like stuff I love, they hate, whatever. It's fine.
I don't hate it. It just has issues.
No, it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
That's why this game fixes it, because it's okay if somebody gets run away, right? Oh, you got tons of power. You're getting all the big attack cards. You're our Titan killer. We'll work on doing all the other stuff. And so
it's a little different when it's a co-op versus. Yeah. But when you can make your arch nemesis rage quit in a DC deck building tournament, Bob, it's worth it.
Sure. You leave Weird Al out of this.
Hey, listen. He was your arch nemesis too. Come on, I did us both a favor.
You did.
Anyways, that's a whole story. We could do a whole list on games that are flawed that we love anyways.
Right.
That's a good idea for a list.
That's a good one.
That's a games with pimples.
Mine is just all DC deck building expansions. all the different ones. Okay, so let's go big. I'm gonna go big with my first one here, my number 5. It's an IP I love. The setup for the game is daunting, but it's worth it for me. The juice is worth the squeeze, as they say. And I'm talking about Legendary Encounters Alien. I really enjoy the Alien theme. I love the way that they took, I love Marvel Legendary. I like most of the Legendary games I have played. I may talk about some later, but anyways, this was the first one I want to hit because I feel like I love the opportunity to get to play through those movies like that. The cards feel the right way. You know what I mean? They make sense. They're on point. The way the aliens are revealed, and you've got to scan the different areas to find out what alien it is so then you can attack it. Somebody can get a face hugger and then you're screwed. Just really cool, really fun, really mean, really difficult co-op. It's a pain in the butt to sort because the writing is so small on the bottom of those cards. They give you divider, or did they give you dividers, or did I make dividers?
No.
I don't. Okay, so I made dividers. I made dividers then. That's what I did. So I made dividers. Mine's all sorted out. I can see it right over there. And I also have the Predator in there as well, because you can combine them, but I haven't done that yet, but I'm dying to. But anyways, it's a horror themed game. I love horror movies. It's one of my favorite IP, horror movie franchises, Alien. And I love deck building games. So there you go. Alien. Legendary Encounters Alien.
Yeah. I think it did come with dividers, but they're like the worst dividers ever. They
might be junk.
Like blue cards, and they were the same size as all the other cards.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
So what I did was I made things, and I took like a label maker, and I made little labels, and I cut things so that they would stick out. So
that's pretty creative.
Sometimes I have my moments. It's not often.
All right, now that's a good pick. I want to argue with you guys, but so far they've been both pretty good. I like me some Legendary, so I can't criticize that. It could be on my list as well. Maybe we'll see. All right. So my number 5. Okay, so first of all, for starters, the way I picked this list is I did not just go through and look at my top 10 games and pick the 5 IP games on there, which Mike thought maybe I did. Because if I did, I'd just be talking about Marvel for another hour. And I know I saw the look in Mike's eyes. That's the
start to glaze.
Give me too when I get into that mode. So apologize for that.
Nope,
but I wanted to expand and kind of broaden the horizon and also talk about games maybe you haven't heard of. So my first one, that's number 5, is this guy right here, Video Game High School. Have you guys familiar with this IP at all?
Nope.
No.
Isn't it a video game?
It is not a video game. It might be now, but it wasn't originally. It was I believe it went straight to YouTube. It was like this YouTube series. And it's about the like another universe where playing video games is like you can go to college and be a video game star and everyone knows your name. So this guy who he doesn't have a lot of money or whatever, kind of a poor person, he doesn't have aspirations of going to school. He accidentally kills the best player in the world, the Law, and that gives him a free ride scholarship into Video Game High School, where they only play video games and they become the best at it ever. And it's just a really fun, quirky series. So I recommend it. But this game is fun. One, it's produced by Plaid Hat Games. So how about that?
Oh, there you go.
I would have thought. Right. Yeah. But when I first played this game, my takeaway with it was I won't play Lords of Waterdeep anymore. I'm only going to play this game.
Whoa.
And I know, right? That hasn't actually been true, but that's how I felt in the moment. You're going to the different locations, which are the different classrooms, and by going there, you're getting like different kind of resources, which are essentially different dice that you're rolling, and then you are going to go to like these competitions up here, which I think you just showed a picture of it, where you're trying to get the high score, and you're doing that by chucking these dice. And if you are doing a first-person shooter, there's the high scores right there. So you're always trying to kind of push that score up and get to the next level. And if you do, you get rewards and tokens and stuff like that. And the best part about this game is it has the best game component ever, and that is the standee. I love standees. I think all games should have standees. This is not a troll. This is real. Because if these were meeples, it wouldn't look as good. But because they're standees, it actually immerses you into the game, and you feel like you're playing the Video Game High School with your favorite characters.
There you go. Video Game High School. I'm writing that down.
I've become really fond of these acrylic standees. I think they're great.
They're the future.
I do love the acrylics. I will say they are, they're awesome. They always look good.
Nice.
Yeah. Because the hierarchy, let's be honest, the hierarchy of like pawns is painted miniature. If you have a painted miniature, that's the best. But we don't all paint. We all don't have the time to do that. A gray miniature, I do not like. I hate gray miniatures. I know that's a hot take. And I would rather have a standee than a gray miniature. But that acrylic, I would rather have than a painted miniature. I think the acrylics look great because you also keep the flavor of the game. Like I actually used Vast as an example of this. You can get the meeple version or the cardboard standee version. And when it's the meeple version, the game just looks so dull and dead. But the standees brings it all together and it makes it look like you're actually playing the game you're supposed to be playing.
Now, how do you feel about a silk screened meeple?
That's pretty good too. I'm okay with that. In some games, it works better than others, like Root. I love them in Root. That was the way to go in Root. If they were standees, I would probably like them less. But a silk screen meeple, that's pretty good too.
Okay, there we go. All right, Mike, you better come in hot, man.
Tim, your mic is.
Yeah, that's you.
It went away.
We're good now.
You're good. Don't touch it.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Don't look at it. Don't even make eye contact. Don't. Yep. Nobody think about my mic.
Yep.
Let's just talk about that mic.
Daniel won't play it anymore. My number 5 is Lords of Waterdeep, based on Dungeons and Dragons. I'm kidding. So no, I decided to take a very different approach to this as well. Number one, no superheroes. Number two, no Star Wars. So this tears this down quite a bit. But
these are all games that Mike has made himself based on fan fiction that he's written.
Correct. Yeah. So my number 5 is Sentinels of the Multiverse. No. My number 5 is based on the classic movie. We're going to talk about an oldie but a goodie. It is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. I haven't talked about any Eric Lane games in a while, so why not talk about this one? A great IP with a ton of art that is all inside of the rule book and nowhere in the game.
The cards are so ugly. What a waste, Mike. What a waste of the cards. You're right.
I love the combination of like worker placement and territory control that this game offers. Also really enjoy how tight the hand management is in this game. Because I believe it's been a while since I've played, but you start with like a hand of 7 cards. You can only hold 7. By the end of the round, you got to get rid of cards if you're holding more than 7. In the later rounds, you can only hold 5 cards. But what gets tricky is at the end of every round, you get to bid for these special characters like the mayor and the police officer that give you these special powers, and they count towards your hand limit. So as the game goes on, your hand is getting tighter and tighter. But I just really like how you're putting these people out, and they are controlling these territories. And that's ultimately how you're going to get a lot of your scoring during the game. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the car bomb card, where you get to blow up everybody in an area. And what do you do when you do that? You chuck everybody into the Hudson River.
They're sleeping with the fishes. Yeah.
It really does have great art and components. And this does a thing that I love in every game. At the end of the game, most money wins. So, but it's got to be money you've put in your suitcase. You've stowed it away. You've stashed it or laundered it, as I like to call it. But this game is still great. This will always be in my collection.
Yep. That's a good pick.
Almost made my list. I love this game as well. I think it's a hidden gem of Lang, and I think the IP is actually what caused this to kind of go down in a lot of people's esteem. My co-host John from the Red Corner, this is actually one of his favorite games of all time, and he almost didn't buy it because of the Godfather theme. He was like, I hate the movie so much, which I know is a hot take. You should listen to him say that, talk about it. It's like me and Marvel, but the opposite. But anyways, he wasn't going to buy it, but he played it, and he was like, this is the best thing I've ever played. So in this case, the IP definitely does hurt this game.
It certainly can. There's a couple things I gotta stay on brand. There's a couple things I have to rip on about this game. They commissioned a ton of gorgeous art, and I already alluded to they put it all in the rule book because every single card looks like the box. Why?
No, well, some of the cards.
Why did you do this?
Some of the cards are uglier than that. Like,
yes, I'm getting there. That's number 1. Number 2, here's your resources.
There we go. Yeah.
Why? Number 3, the rule book. There's somebody that went on BGG and condensed this thing down to 2 pages. It's a 30-page rule book, and every other page has a full page of art. And it's amazing art, but it's nowhere in the game. It's just the box art on every card.
It's shocking that that's from CMON. You would have expected a little bit more from them.
Yeah. Like 2017, like the height of CMON when, like they were putting out their best stuff. And
they're at the full height of their
all that Kickstarter money.
Yeah.
With cartoon Marlon Brando on every damn card. Anywho, great game, though. Great game.
It is a great game. I love it. Yeah.
Can't disagree. So you guys have got great picks so far.
Well, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We start strong and then just
for sure.
We'll All right, on to Bob's number 4.
My number 4, speaking of Eric playing games, one that I don't think he gets much credit for that I love based on a video game that I really enjoy, but XCOM, the board game, it's fantastic. It's got some great real-time elements in it. Resource management, you got to have people that know what they're doing in each position, because a scientist is trying to delegate stuff, give resources to some people, trying to help the fighting guy out, but the fighting guy is trying to defend the base, and the guy with the app is trying to tell people like what's going on and where to place the ships and everything else. Like, it's just a fun time. I really need to get this one to the table again, because it's been about a year and a half since I played it. I've taken it with me a bunch of places, but I just haven't gotten it to the table again in a while. But yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good, difficult co-op.
Yep.
I was really late to the party on this one. I played this one for the first time at Bob's house in 2023, I think. 24.
I think it was last time I played it. Yeah.
Good, chaotic fun.
Yep.
Do you think it holds up after all this time?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's unique enough. I just don't think there's any other game that's like it.
Has that real-timey co-op going on, and then you got the different countries, and you have to like maintain the balance of like, Tim, you're static again. I don't know what you're doing there.
And do anything.
Stop doing nothing.
Damn it.
But yeah, so you have to like keep those countries like happy and not scared and whatnot, so you can make sure you're getting the funding from them. Otherwise, it starts getting more and more difficult as you're going. But yeah.
We did a little trivia on our show once, and we asked what the first app game was. It was not this. It was Alchemist, but I don't count that. I think this is like the first app game, and they did it well, and they also made it seem like it's actually feasible to integrate a board game and an app together, and they made it definitely. This has probably started the wave. So if you hate apps and games, I think this game is the reason and you should hate it for that reason.
I love Alchemist, but if you haven't played it in a while, it's really hard to go back to.
Yeah, it's hard to pick it back.
Yeah.
Relearning that game is really tough. But you're right. It basically.
Tim.
Well, I didn't say anything.
I don't know how you can't hear it.
I can't hear any of it.
It's because it's his headphone adapter. He's got to get a different aux to Lightning, is what it is.
Yeah. He needs to upgrade to some iPad or something.
But you're right. The Alchemist app, it really is simply just taking the place of a dummy player. It's just mixing two ingredients and giving you.
Yeah, it's like the app for the racing game that you like, the horse race. Yeah.
Yeah, Ready, Set, Bet.
So I was gonna go like, actually the first app-based game was Gala Marcana, but they came out the same year, so I can't really say that.
Okay.
And Daniel, I hope you know Starry Night, or are they just really excited to see you?
No, I don't know him at all. No, I do. He's a good friend of mine.
It's awesome.
It took an hour to get on here. Thanks a lot, Philip. You missed my entire Marvel rant.
He's like,
so that's the Philip you were trash talking the whole like first 30 minutes. It's like, geez, I don't know what this guy did to Daniel, but like he just won't stop. Like we were texting each other about it. We're like, is Daniel going to talk about like his conventions that he organizes, or is he just going to talk about Philip all night? So now we know.
Now we know.
Yeah. the truth comes out.
Philip is one of our event planners as well. So he's on the committee with me.
Right on.
He helps with the tech. He helps with the tech from around the board too. So.
Oh, cool. I need his help apparently.
Yeah, I was thinking with his audio there.
I just also, for the record, want to say that Daniel jinxed me because he was talking about how smooth everything went.
Yeah.
And here we go. Here we go. All right, guys. Let's dig into this. Please prepare your slings and arrows as I go controversial with my number 4 IP pick. Let's go way back to Dante Alighieri when he wrote his hit piece on the people and politicians and religious leaders of the time that he was sick of, and I'm talking about Dante's Inferno. And Inferno is a badass game. Oh my god, Inferno is so good. And I'm going to say that it is an IP-based game because that game is thematic as hell, literally, and it is directly based and inspired and influenced
public domain
of aspect. Hey, listen,
it's a public domain IP.
It's an IP.
Yeah.
I didn't put any Cthulhu.
I was saying Cthulhu would count too.
Yeah,
I left all that off.
It's an intellectual property, even if it's public domain.
Right.
It was at one time an intellectual property.
Well, it was probably before copyrights, but still.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I got to shoehorn Wonderland's
one-time IP list
now. Yeah. I got to shoehorn Wonderland's War onto my list now.
Yeah,
it was on my short list. But I didn't
Mike, you're supposed to put good games on the list. Boom.
Nice.
Anyway,
so Tim doesn't like.
Yeah, fair enough. That too. But no, so Inferno, what you're doing essentially is you have to your turn is gonna have like essentially two phases. You are going to have to move a soul in either from the graveyard into the outer circle of hell, which is limbo, or you're going to move a soul that's already in hell further down to try to get them to their particular circle of hell for the sin that they have committed or were guilty of the most. And if you can get them to their circle, you're going to score points for it. But the other thing is where you move that soul, that location is going to have an icon, and that icon is attached to two locations that now when you take the second part of your turn is you're going to take an action in one of those locations. So where you move that soul tells you where you have to go on the top part of the board to take one of your actions. And so there's really interesting mechanics there with like, well, I could move that soul further down, but I don't need to do that action. I really need to do, action A instead of action Y. So I need to actually move this soul. So it maybe feels suboptimal, but maybe not. It just kind of depends on what you're doing. There's a ton of tracks and different ways to score points. I love the theme. I loved playing this game. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Bob and I played it a couple weeks ago. We both loved it. And then Mike and West and I played it just last weekend. And I was so excited just to get to play it again. But a very cool game if you're into the theme, if you're fine with sending souls to hell for the sins that they have committed. But it's very thematic. And I think that was I think my favorite thing, one of my favorite things about the game was how well it pulled off the theme and the vibe. So are we getting into Pride and Prejudice and zombies? I just saw Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, the board game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Wow. Stay tuned for Tim's number one, Wonderland Flux.
Anyways,
Tim, where did you find this game at? This looks fantastic. This looks awesome.
Okay, so it is first of all, but no, we got lucky. We got so Grand Gamers Guild is going to be publishing this game in the States this summer. So we were lucky enough to get a review copy of it. There are some copies floating around from a different publisher, but they basically signed with the with Grand Gamers Guild to get US distribution.
Yep.
But this game is great. The meeples look great because not only are they the color of the ring of hell that they're trying to get to, but they have like the cutout of the sin, right? Yeah. So like gluttony is like, it looks like a turkey leg with like a bite taken out of it, right? And like the traitorous people have like a dagger, right? And they're like inside of it, like cut out of it. The meeples look great. There's just really cool components. And yeah, just one of the creepiest, coolest box art games, box art you'll find on a game. But yeah, very cool. Yeah, lots of detail in there. Like the more you look at that box cover, the more you see.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's very cool. I very, very, very highly recommend this game. Looks heavier than it actually is. I feel like once you understand how to play it, it's pretty straightforward. But it looks intimidating, right? Because there's a lot going on. But but it wasn't too bad. Mike, you and Wes and I, we played this in under 2 hours with Teach, right? 3 players under 2 hours with Teach. Yeah.
Yeah. It's medium heavy, but yeah, it's fairly easy to pick up.
Yeah.
Yep.
That looks great. That looks awesome. So, you know, but you did say this isn't quite out yet. So you said earlier that liking Adam and the Hawkman might be the hipsterest thing you said. I mean, this is pretty hipster. You're like, I like this game before it's even out.
Yeah, you guys I won't like it once everybody else gets.
I managed to find a version for trade on BGG. So
yeah.
So Bob did locate a copy in the States, so he's got one. But you do have to beware the counterfeiter. I would just say buy it from Grand Gamers Guild when it comes out. But
yeah, no US copies. And I think even like pre-orders from Miniature Market or where'd it go, like a month or 2 out. So it is hard to get right.
Okay. Yeah, you can technically buy it from the UK. I think on UK, even Amazon. But you got to pay all that shipping to get it over here, which is more now.
I'm just gonna say pre-order it and you'll be happy.
It's fine.
Yeah. There you go.
I think Greg Gamers
really
taking
guys are actually
pre-orders.
a review channel or something and actually got prepared for these.
The thing is it's just hard when you play a really cool game and you're really excited about it. You like just can't shut up about it. So that's kind of.
No, I get it. Yeah. That's awesome. I'm glad you did because I'm excited to see that it's on my radar now. So
good.
That's sweet.
Heaviness scale. He was asking. I was going to agree with BGG, which says 3.5 out of 5. I'd say 7 out of 10 heavyweight.
Yeah.
Medium heavy.
Medium heavy.
It's not that bad.
I do like me a heavy game, but that's a good weight though. That's a pretty solid experience.
Well, but like I like a heavy game, but I don't want to play one for like 7 hours, right? Like I enjoy a heavy game that I can play in like 2.5 hours. Well, it also depends. If you're losing in the first 40 minutes and there's no way to come back, that 7-hour game is a nightmare. But that's a Tim problem too.
You know, fourth.
Also, starting night, I have Civolution on the way, and I cannot wait. I am a Feld fanboy, so very excited for that.
Yeah, our friend Andy played it, loved it, but he played it at like 10 o'clock at night, and he brought his 13-year-old son with him and forced him to play for 6 hours into 4 o'clock a.m. So, yeah, if we give Andy a hard time about that one too.
That's
but he
rough.
said it was good.
Hey, if he still said it's good, then it must be good, right? Like,
it must be.
Andy beat him.
And Andy's son beat him too, which made it
even better. It's like, if you're gonna make me sit here all damn night, I'm gonna beat you.
That's right.
That's good.
All right. Are you guys ready for me? Or
let's go. Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know the flow here. Okay. All right. So my number 4 is a legendary game. I tried to not go all Marvel. So while Marvel Legendary is one of my favorite games, I went with a different IP, which is also one of my favorite IPs of all time, and that is Legendary Encounters X-Files.
I would love to play this. Let's go.
Yes. Let's do it. This is a fun encounters game. You're trying to discover mysteries. I do think the Alien one probably does the story better, but this still does a really good job. But it's just like any other Legendary game with some few little differences. Honestly, I can't even tell you what the differences are. It's legendary. What else is there to say about this?
Right.
What I really like why this is going to make my list though, is because my wife actually, she wasn't a huge like pop culture nerd before I met her. She's still not super huge in some of the stuff, but she's getting there. But this was the one thing that her and her family would watch together was X-Files. And it's
I love
my
X-Files.
dad watched together. So it was like when we were dating and I was like, do you read comics? Of course she doesn't. Do you play board games? Of course she doesn't. Do you play D&D? No. You like X-Files? Like, I love X-Files. I was like, yes. So
that's it. Will you marry me
over this? Yeah, exactly. That's all it took. No, but no, it does really well. It pretty much there's 9 seasons of X-Files. So this one clumps it down into 3 seasons each. So there's essentially 3 stories through all of that. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun. You get to relive those moments of your favorite times in X-Files. When I'm playing with my wife, she tells me, oh yeah, that's the one that once I watched it, I had dreams about it for months after that, and I couldn't sleep and stuff like that. She was a real lightweight when it came to scary stuff. So this was a stretch for her, but yeah, no, not much to talk about it. You already talked about Legendary, so that's mine. X-Files.
No, I can dig it, and I can hear the theme song in my head. It is an iconic one.
Does it have the small font on that one as well for sorting the cards?
Probably even smaller, because there's like notebooks. Do you see how there's like, it looks like notebooks? So they're actually trying to write within the lines of that notebook. So I think it's even smaller font.
Yikes. Yeah. That's my biggest beef with that. I have time to sort it at the end to get everything like in order and whatnot. It's such a pain in the butt.
Yeah. And that is the flaw of the encounters. Like all of Legendary, it's really hard to sort and stuff like that. But the encounters ones are specifically harder because it's like you want episode 5 through 10. And it's like, you don't know what episode 5 through 10 looks like. But when you're doing Marvel, you're like, I need to pick out my Gambit cards. I know who Gambit is.
Yeah, they're so easy to sort. Right.
Yeah. But the encounter ones, yeah, they are impossible. They're just so frustrating.
Yeah, that's an awesome pick. I would love to play that game because I used to love me some X-Files. Holy crap, I loved X-Files.
Yeah. I mean, X-Files, I mean, that changed television, right? Like that finally became the thing where you could like sit down and watch the show and be like, is this one going to be an important one? Is this one going to be the overarching story? And how many times did you get that prior to the X-Files? I think like Twin Peaks maybe had some kind of overarching thing.
Yeah.
It was, like, weird, and you had to like really stick with it.
Yeah. And Twin Peaks still never really pays off because it like, David Lynch was not interested in paying it off. He just wanted to do the weird stuff. But it was, I think, Mark Snow that did or wrote a bunch of the X-Files episodes. And there was a legit arc to it. Yeah, me too, Starry Night. I am surprised I haven't played that yet either. But cool. I also am really glad because I've seen the game, but I've never played it. But I'm glad to know that an X-Files fan enjoyed it. So that's important.
For sure. I mean, I'm also a big Legendary fan, so we'll see which one actually trumps the other. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Fair enough. Oh, wow. Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, Nix is a hardcore role play gamer. Yeah. And he definitely has DM'd his share of campaigns.
Nice. This X-Files would make a really interesting campaign. I would definitely play a role playing game with that. That could be super cool, actually. Yeah, a lot of investigating and encountering, like almost like Cthulhu, like, right? Like that's probably the way you would go with it. So that's cool.
I think there was it World of Darkness? I think there was the World of Darkness RPG, which kind of touched on that, where you could kind of play on the outskirts of like trying to find the cryptids and the all the weird stuff. But
yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm sure somebody will in the comments correct me, and I'm fine with that. All right, Mike. You got to beat X-Files now.
Well, I don't know if I can do that, but this was one that was referenced earlier in the chat, and I haven't talked about this one in a while. So we're gonna go to Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem.
I want to play this.
This game was so ahead of its time because of it was really a hybrid game that I think got kind of pulled down by its theme. Like this IP is about a very violent motorcycle club, and yet this is a very good Euro game that has worker placement and territory control. And so what you're actually doing is you're going to send your guys out to these from your your base. You're going to send them out to these areas. So moving is an action, and you spend like action points, and you have so many each round. Moving is an action, but you don't get to use a territory right away, meaning someone else could move to the same territory that you are at. When it comes back to your turn, you get a choice. You could move away, or you could start a fight with that person. The only way you are going to get to use the benefit of the token is by having that territory all to yourself. If you win the fight, then they have to retreat. It should be, but it has been a while since I've talked about this one. I used to talk about this all the time because like nobody really appreciated how good this game actually is. I always considered it severely underrated. But you gotta win a fight to get people off of this territory to retreat from that tile before you can actually use it or exploit the territory. And it's another one of those games where most money wins, and I just like that. But every territory is different ways of doing resource conversions. You can turn those little contraband bags in for money, or you can turn your guns in for money. Your guns are also used during a fight. You get to call in backup, so the number of guys you have contribute to your battle strength. But every gun that you use completely wipes out somebody from the other team. So that, of course, will decrease their strength. But it's just a good game. I haven't played it in so long. I bought this to get some buddies of mine into the hobby, and it worked. We played this quite a bit when I first got this, and I've really been wanting to play it again.
Really cool. I missed it a little bit. Did you say the fighting is done? Is there dice in the fighting, or is it kind of deterministic?
There actually is one 1d6 that you roll afterwards. So there is a random modifier. It's your it's the guns that you use plus the characters that you have in battle. Some are a strength of 1. There's higher ups that are worth strength of 2, and then you roll a d6, which is your random modifier.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I have to correct myself real quick. Mark Snow did not write X-Files. He wrote the theme to X-Files. It was Chris Carter that was the creator of X-Files. I was like, yeah, I had to look it up. Self-correct because I am a trivia nerd and I wanted to get out ahead of people coming after me.
Anybody in the comments are like, they're like already like angrily typing, then you correct yourself, you're like, delete.
Yeah. Exactly.
Since I know I'm the only one that's probably played this, a couple other things I think this game make this game shine. 1, asymmetric factions. They're all very different. All of them do something slightly unique from each other. Number 2, there's a bidding round, and you put one of those bags of contraband in your fist at the end of each round. And it's kind of one of those things where, like, okay, if there's only you put one in your fist, everybody puts it in the middle, reveals at the same time. Say there's only 2 bags of contraband, they're all worth $3. But if there's 3 to 5 bags of contraband, they're worth only $2. If there's 5 to 8, they're worth only $1. So the more you submit into this blind bidding, the less they are worth. So it's just an interesting sort of mind game you play to get more money after each round that I also really like. And money is how you win the game.
Mm-hmm. I was very late. I've only watched one season of this show. Yeah, but I was very late to it.
I never watched it. Yeah, this is definitely a game that keeps percolating. Like every now and then you'll hear a person from a show like Mike who's just like, this is a really good game. So there has to be some validity there. But once again, the IP holding it back. Also, Gale Force 9, they're kind of like on some of their games.
Hit and miss.
So
they turned a different it is Gale Force 9. Turn this into like a generic mob theme game that generated like no buzz at all. A game called Wise Guys here.
Well, they probably lost the rights to the IP, but still own the game, right? So yeah.
Can you actually buy that one?
You can, yeah. This is still available new. There's a few tweaks they made to it, and the reviews I've read have said it's not quite as good. But even though I'm pretty sure Sons of Anarchy is out of print, you can easily get used copies. Yeah. So there you go, $5. Cool. That's probably
all right on my list. But still.
All right. Back to Bob for number 3. Whoops.
We never have technical difficulties. It's always smooth and perfect.
Ever.
Right. So for my number 3, I love hidden movement games, and there's not one but 2 hidden movement games based on the same IP. Halloween by Trick or Treat Studios is fan-friggin-tastic. When I think of hidden movement types of games, this is the kind of game that I'm thinking about. But even like switches it, because like a lot of times, like with Letters from Whitechapel, you have the many trying to find the one, but in Halloween, you don't want to find the one, and you don't want him finding you, because before you know it, he's behind you and he's stabbing you in the side. And man, we've had so much fun with this game. They did such a good job with it. Both versions are really good, whichever one you get your hands on. I think I prefer the Halloween 2 map better, playing as Michael Myers, and but I haven't played as the many much. Most of the time when I play, I'm playing as the one. So I'd have to, play the other side to see how the map feels for both of them. But man, like the fact that they can actually kill you in the second one adds a whole nother level to the game, because then I've got to worry about my hit points. But you're using your favorite. You got standees. You're walking around the board. You're trying to find these. There's 4 different decks. You got to find like a certain item out of each one, like either like a kid or a person plus keys to a vehicle, and then get out. And your facing matters, because Michael Myers can move really fast as long as he's not in anybody's line of sight. And otherwise, he's just trying to sneak up behind you. And yes, do that right there. And man, it's a good time.
You had Daniel at standees.
Yeah.
Would not have been as fun if it was miniatures. I'm just saying.
Bob,
I do appreciate the fact that they're functional. Like legitimately in this game, the way you're facing really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they give you stickers to put on those bases, but why bother? The standees show you which way they're facing. Like it's fine.
Yeah, because the other side has the backside. Yeah.
I had this written down, Bob, just in case.
Yeah.
These both Halloween 1 and 2 are designed by Emerson Matsuuchi. And I will say, because of rights disputes, the Halloween 2, if you don't get it now, it will never be made again. Because of rights. They do not have the rights to it anymore.
Sorry.
So the copies that do exist for Halloween 2 are collector's items.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I better grab one then, because I want one of those.
So get them now.
That's the one right there. Yep.
Get them now. But yeah, these are awesome. If you like hidden movement games, they're great, because like Bob was saying, normally the hidden person is the one running from the many. And in this game, the hidden person is hunting the many, and it's so tense and stressful because you never know when he's going to pop up. Absolutely love it. Starry Night, in concept, yes, but not at all. No, so Dead by Daylight, you know where the killer is at all times. Unfortunately, the maps are kind of on Dead by Daylight. It's
an okay game, but it didn't feel like Dead by Daylight.
Right. It's not a terrible game.
Yeah.
It could have been done better, in my opinion. It is a video game that I have logged many hours on, so I feel comfortable expressing my opinion about it. But we had like a copy. We've had access to a copy for ages, and we played it once and kind of never felt the need to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a board game version of Death by Daylight?
Yeah, there is.
I think that's where Philip is confused. I think he thinks you're still talking about the video game.
Oh, video game's good. Board game,
yeah.
Gotcha.
I enjoy the video game. But yeah. Anyways. But great pick, Bob. Love it. Halloween 2 is also great.
I'm trying to find a copy.
Yeah, get a copy. If it is something you are interested in, buy 2, because they're going to be impossible to get.
Sell one later, right?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't even mean to physically buy 2, but yes, buy 2 of them and then sell one later. Yes. But buy Halloween 2, 2 copies. Halloween Squared.
Are we getting a copy of that?
Another one? No.
Asking for a friend.
No, not getting another one.
Another good pick. Come on, guys. Where's the bad picks at? I was ready to get on you guys, but these are all good so far.
This one ain't going to be bad either. I hate to break your heart, Daniel.
Man.
Because we're going to talk about an IP that is tied to a video game, but doesn't play like the video game at all. And I'm talking about Mechs versus Minions.
On my short list.
By Riot Games.
Short list.
Hey, my buddy Clarky's up today. What's up, buddy? You say hi? Everybody's looking?
Hi.
How's it going?
You want to sit somewhere? I can clear off a chair for you.
Okay. Oh, the pain.
But, is it crackling again?
No. This was my number one.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Sorry. But Mechs vs. Minions. So made by Riot Games, who I thought would never make another board game again. But supposedly they're working on a TCG. That may or may not come out because some stuff got leaked. And I don't know if they'll do like a Tarantino where they're going to go, oh, you're going to leak my movie script. I'm never going to make that movie now. Go to heck. But anyways, Riot Games, I have never played League of Legends, but Mech vs. Minions is based on the League of Legends IP. This was one of the first program movement games I ever played. I had heard about it before it came out, was really lucky to get in on the pre-order. When they did their initial release, they ran a second one. This game is freaking amazing. The value on this game, I spent like $80 on this game, and the value for all the components, the quality of everything, and the quality of the game. Oh my God, it's so good. This game's so good. And I haven't even gone through all the scenarios yet. Oh, it's so good. But absolutely love Mechs vs. Minions. So sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to step on your one. I apologize.
No, I got a substitute. We're good.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised somebody used this one. It's an amazing game.
It's so good. It is so good. It is.
Well, this was almost on my list, but I picked the X-Files one just to be different. So
there you go.
I'm glad I did.
There you go.
And since we talked a little bit about that March Madness of board gamings, and then also Phillips in the chat, he made one of our brackets. Just so you know that this was actually in our March Madness of board gaming for the third year. And this year it got defeated in the first round by Lords of Vegas by 1 point.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tough. That is tough.
It was a well fought battle, but just couldn't get it at the end. So
I'm glad it was close. I'd be really upset if it wasn't close. Because I do love Lords of Vegas, one of my all-time favorite games. But man, Mechs vs. Minions is so dang good. So dang good.
Yeah, I was right there with you, Tim. When I heard about this game coming out, specifically, I watched Dice Tower, so they hyped it up to high heaven. So I was like, I gotta get this. I remember sitting at my desk. I worked at a bank, and like I was trying to ignore customers because all I was sitting there is hitting refresh on my phone.
Yes,
like, I gotta get in.
Yes. So at the time, I was a truck driver, right? So like I was at a stop, like between deliveries, and I'm like refresh. Like I'm just buying this game because I think I had heard about it on Dice Tower and I had heard about it on the Secret Cabal gaming podcast, which is another one that I really like. And they were talking about it. And I was like, okay, like I got to get this dang game. Knew nothing about it other than heard how good it was. Right.
Yep.
And yeah.
Purely on hype, but it lived up to it. It was great.
That production,
no regrets.
Fantastic.
No regrets.
And for all of that, like the sheer brilliance of any of the minion sculpts fit in any of the slots. I mean, how has that not been done again? Like, why don't more people do that? It's crazy. Wow.
Hey, I'm glad you got yours for $50. I really am. That is awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. I'm not the kind of person that gets mad because somebody else had a better time at something than me. Yeah. I could be happy for other people. Like, that's a good win. Good for you.
We got ours first anyway, so
that's true. So we were cool. When you got yours, it wasn't really like it's fine. That game's fine. Whatever.
It was 15 out of 16. Lords of Vegas was slightly better at that time, so you know.
I love the way they do the kind of the program movement, and it feels so thematic with like, I used to push this lever and go forward, but ever since I got hit, now I push this lever and I just turn to the side for some reason. Like,
so cool. I love the way they do the damage. It's so good. It's so good. Love this game.
Yeah,
absolutely love this game.
And I just really like the programming and how you don't know exactly how things are going to shake out by the time you resolve your cards.
Right. Well, that's the thing is you can kind of talk to the guys, the other players, and you're like, well, I think I'm going to end up over here.
Like this area.
Yeah.
I like programming in games. Sometimes it can be punishing, but this one just really hits the sweet spot of it.
Well, I think it's punishing, but at the same time, it's still fun. Like even when stuff goes bad, it's kind of funny how it goes bad. And
and it's because it's co-op. I think if it was like competitive, it would be frustrating, but because it's co-op, you can just laugh at yourself. It's like I'm just running in circles for 3 turns, but oh well, my
do something useful too.
Doing other things.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm trying.
Yeah, really
fantastic.
Fun. Yep. So sorry, Daniel, you're not going to get the hate on that one either. I would have fought you on that one.
No.
Like, no, look.
Yeah. No. Yep. It's fair. Now maybe you could say it's not a 1-to-1 IP, but
I mean, it's like literally
it's just out of the world.
It's literally based on the League of Legends IP. I mean, what are you gonna do?
No, it is. It's just not League of Legends the game.
It's not a port, right? Yeah, it's not a port of the game, right?
Yeah, but that's fair. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with another obscure IP. So this is another one. I found out about this when it first came out, and I think it was 2014, 13. It was a review by Tom Vassell, and the first thing I fell in love with was the cover art. It just drew me in because this was an Italian comic book, and as soon as I saw it, it just sung comic book to me, and that is Corto. This is a 1970s Italian comic strip. Started out with won tons of awards as it's regarded as like one of these like literary I can't speak literary whatever. It's a genius work of writing, and it got a lot of renown for it. But what's really cool about this game, other than the beautiful cover, is what you're seeing right there, those 3 colored strips right there. Those are 3 different boards. This game comes with 6 different boards, and you use like the number of players plus 1 board. And each board has its own ability. Like it interacts a little bit different. Now they all there's an overarching thing that the game does, which is you're getting characters out into the comic strip, and you are either like putting your influence on a character that it is beside, or you are like if it's a white border, you put on the influence. If it's a black border, you remove influence. You're like shooting somebody. If you remove all the influence, that person is dead. If you keep putting more influence on there, you become more influential with them. And what this turns into being is an area control game. You are trying to lay out the comic strips and get the biggest area that you control while laying down cards, removing people, and doing things like that. Each board, because it has its own special ability, it kind of gives you something extra to do or extra to think about in every single segment. And this, I know I was going on about how I don't like miniatures, but it also comes with these like busts. Can we see that very well?
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
Mike, make them big. Mike, make them big.
These really, they're the really chunky pieces here, and he moves around the board.
No, make Daniel's screen big, Mike.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at looking at the BGG.
There you go. Oh yeah, those look good.
There we go. So we got Cordo here and Rasputin, who's his Russian enemy, his nemesis, but they move around and they interact. This one gives influence, this one removes influence. But yeah, very unique game, very beautiful art. I fell in love with it literally immediately and had to get it. So, and I still think it holds up well today. I get it played probably once every 2 years because I bring it up and someone goes, "That sounds fun." And I'm like, "Let's play it." So
yes,
it's really good. It's a Cordo.
Thank God somebody had a more hipster pick
than Tim.
Yes.
Wow. Bringing the deep cuts today.
Right? I mean, I could have went all Marvel, like I said, but I was like, no, I gotta shake it up. Gotta shake it up. And I love talking about this game anytime I can. In our show Around the Board, sometimes we'll do like random tasks and stuff like that, where we come up with a random topic. And sometimes we'll say like the most obscure board game. And this is the one I like to try to show off because I'm like, no one's ever heard of this game, but you should play it. And I think you can still get copies of it because it kind of was just a game that showed up and didn't go anywhere. So you might be able to get a copy of it. And I would recommend it. It's really good.
I'm going to look for it. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to look for it because
I bought the expansion like last year. So like if you could buy the expansion, I'm sure you can buy the base game somewhere.
Yeah, you can easily get it on eBay. There's a couple copies. Well, hopefully they're not in Europe.
Well, Noble Night Games has it for $25.
There we go. That's a deal.
Oh, that's what I was afraid of overseas. I find it interesting to find out the availability of these games during the show. There you go. There's a US copy. Even will take an offer. $15. Done deal. Let's go.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a hipster pick, but it's well worth it. I think it holds up. It's a really unique, just really unique area control game, and I love area control games. So this one just does a good job with it. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Wayne, I'm gonna call your show tomorrow and give you a hard time about that. That's so good. I love it. I love it. I'm just glad it's not only me. It's not only me. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, come on. Again, not to push my show too much here, but hey, why not?
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons we do our show. We love talking about older games because there is tons of channels out there who's going to talk about the newest, hottest games, but there's a lot of games that get missed, and these games deserve to get the attention and the spotlight.
Absolutely.
Because they, so just because they got overlooked or they didn't have the correct marketing. No, these got to be held up, and I think it's people like us. It's our responsibility to show them how great these games can be.
Exactly. My last pick was 9 years old. Can you believe Mechs vs. Minions is 9 years old now?
I am still buying older games that I haven't played all the time. I find it better to find older games that stand the test of time because there's so much new stuff that comes out that just things get missed easily.
Now Bob likes his board games like he likes his ladies. It's Cult of the New. It's like the newest one out.
You tell him.
I like the new model, Bob.
Yeah, Jim. See, look, look. Hey, I've been out hipstered.
Wow, that was not my bingo card.
I'm glad I could contribute to the show.
Listen, I'm happy. I'm happy for it. I'm not the only one. Let's go. All right, Mike.
What you got?
Well, I can't out hipster any of that. That's for sure, but that's okay. All right. So I am infamously not very well versed on movies. So when somebody tells me about a 40-year-old movie and I go and watch it like 6 times in like less than a year, that tells you something. Like I really love this movie, and I know what this is. I finally got to play the game last year, and it is so true to the IP, and it is The Thing, Infection, and Outpost 31. First of all, this movie is just awesome. I like both versions, and I know, the computer graphic, the CGI is not that great in the second one. It doesn't take anything away from it for me. Both games both movies are amazing. But this game is one of those, like, it's not perfect by any means. And as far as social deduction games go, there are better ones out there. And yeah, there are times where like the imitation spreads randomly and it makes it really hard to figure out who it is. But that's what it does in the movie. You have no idea who the imitation is or who it has spread to. And when you are done playing this game, you have a story to tell. And it just doesn't go away. It just sticks in your head. You keep thinking about when we were blaming Karen the whole time, and we were right that she was the imitation. And the person teaching the game, Tim's brother-in-law, Patrick, who is doing an excellent job quarterbacking, and I'm not saying that as an insult, I'm saying walking people through what they should be looking for out of the imitation. But then at the very last round, when the imitation spread and he takes her to the kitchen, I should have known he came infected. I should have known. And I will never forgive myself for that. But I will never forget that one game of this. It is just so much fun to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this game. I'm really glad that you love this game too, Mike. Yeah, I've got stories from this game every time.
Exactly. It's stories. You just can't forget your plays of this game. It may not have perfect mechanics. It may be totally random how things spread, but you won't forget your plays of it.
Wayne, this one's a little tougher than Jaws. I mean, in Jaws they do eat a kid, so I guess in the Thing they don't. No children were harmed.
Yeah, but they shoot a dog.
Well, it wasn't a dog though, Bob.
That's fair.
It was not a dog by the time they get to it. Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger boat. No,
I do that every day at work.
This game's great. I am really glad that that Mike loves it. Mike, I'm really considering on the IndieCon flea market buying the other version of this game called Who Goes There, which is actually based on the short story that the movie was based on.
I saw you asking about that, and I knew nothing. I didn't know that tied to that.
Yep.
So I'm drawing a blank on the name of this game, but there was a game that Portal Games made that was like a kind of like it was the Thing, the board game. It was done well.
Yeah, there's two of them called The Thing. This one's The Thing Infection Outpost 99, right?
Yeah, no, this one wasn't called The Thing at all. It was a generic IP. Do you guys know? Oh, I was going to ask if you played it and how it compared, because that one was very similar. Like if you go into a room with somebody, but I can't think of the name. So
what's
sorry.
that
one sounds fun.
Card game version of this, Tim?
Yeah, but that was made by Pendragon, and that was Stay Away. That wasn't Portal. Yeah, Chris, we will be at IndieCon. It is confirmed. We already bought our tickets, so you cannot avoid us. We'll expect you to hang out with us.
That's right.
Chris is one of our friends in the Indianapolis area. He was part of my sister's game group, and then he was foolish enough to let us hang out with him, and now we just bother him every time we see him because he's fun to play. He's fun to play games with. I'm gonna try to see if I can find out what game.
If you ever go to Gen Con, he does volunteer at the Arcane Wonders booth, so you might have seen him.
Yeah, but big fans of Chris. Let me see what game this is.
I didn't mean Portal. I meant Stronghold.
Stronghold. Okay, that's different.
Okay,
yeah,
that's different.
Yeah,
I'm racking my brain for this.
Gosh, I cannot find it. If Philip is in the chat still, he might remember what it's called.
It's Social Deduction.
We can move on.
Not like Resistance or Coup or any of those.
It's pretty similar to The Thing.
Is it Not Alone?
Not Alone. And I remember this game because it's actually how the Secret Cabal got connected with
Bonacore
there.
Okay.
Yeah, because they trashed the game.
Oh shoot.
Like, no, it's better than
that. Is this Dark Moon?
Nope, not Dark Moon.
Okay, thank God, because I love that game.
Yeah, I enjoy Dark Moon.
Reveals early.
Yeah, I did not put it on my list, but Battlestar Galactica, that is a quality game, and Dark Moon made that just go a little bit quicker and faster.
Yeah. It sure did. It sure did. Man, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep searching.
I'll look for it. You guys can move on. Yeah. You don't have to wait for me.
All right, Mike. Daniel's gonna look for that mystery game. So Mike, what is your
Thing.
On 3? Number 3? Oh, it's The Thing. Bob, what's your number 2? Bob, what's your number 2?
Bob, number 2.
My number 2 was mentioned in our 1, Game of Thrones, the board game. It is a great IP. The game plays just like the books would. There's so much backstabbery and intrigue, and the hidden planning is fantastic. If you like the books, you will probably like the game. If you like to stab your friends in the back, you'll probably like this game.
If you like to stab your friends in the face, you'll probably like this game.
Yeah, but it's so good and it plays so well. Like it's been too long since I played it. I actually loaned this game to a friend and it came back at the bottom of the box busted out.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm a little upset by that, but I mean everything's still in there, it looks like. So yeah, I need to get this played again because it's been way too long.
Yeah, Bob, I absolutely love this game, love this IP, obviously. Holy smokes, man, I love this game. It's so much fun.
So did you guys like Lord of the Game of Thrones? Did you watch the show? I was reading the books and watching the show, and they diverted enough that I couldn't keep watching the show. I shouldn't have done it at the same time, granted.
I don't read the book.
I didn't care for the show.
Don't read books.
I watched every episode of the show, but I actively stopped liking the show after about season 5. And I wouldn't say it was like a hate watch, but I just kept watching it because it's like, well, I'm hoping that they get back to the good stuff, and they just never did, in my opinion. So everybody can be mad at me for that. But I love the books, and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Martin will never, ever, ever finish those books.
Probably not.
But I mean,
I saw he had news recently. You see those dire wolves that got?
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was apparently in the know about that and got to take pictures of them and all that stuff. So
have you seen a picture of them sitting in the Iron Throne?
Oh,
in the Iron Throne and took pictures of them.
I wish he'd take pictures of him sending Winds of Winter to his publisher. You know. Even Mike got that joke.
Nicely done.
No, I adore that series of books, and I've come to peace with it not being finished. But the last couple seasons of that show were just
disappointing.
Well, they ruined the pacing of it too, because like I'm not even that disappointed with like the plot points that they used, but like it was done so fast. You know, like if they had like the Red Wedding happen, everybody's like, you know, because you had a week to like think about that. But then like towards the end when you know Dany and Jon are in the throne room, and then it's like. And then all of a sudden, there's still more stuff coming on. You're like, wait, I'm still kind of freaking reeling from what just happened here. Give me a week to digest that.
Yeah.
And stretch that out a little bit more. It would have been a lot better.
I think it was more of a Weiss and Benioff who were the writers of the show and not an HBO thing because, obviously HBO did the House of the Dragon series and they're fine with like putting that out. But like, why would you not let some of these things breathe?
Yeah, let it marinate.
But the other problem was in the first season, if you want to think about it, right? The first season, it took like 3 or 4 episodes to get from Winterfell to King's Landing.
Yeah.
And then by season 4 and 5, they're just teleporting to wherever they need to be. It's like, okay.
Speed of plot.
Yeah. It's like plot armor, plot speed. It's like, okay. And they set up a bunch of really interesting things that never paid off. I could do a whole episode on my bitches about Game of Thrones. But I adore the theme. I love the IP, and the Game of Thrones board game is one of my favorites. I rarely ever win, but I have such an awesome time playing it every time because we always just brutalize each other, and it's amazing.
Any kind of negotiation game, I don't win because they come after me because they talk too much. So they're like, "Well, you're talking, so obviously you're a threat." And I'm like, "No."
Well, that's what happens with Bob and I in like werewolf games.
Right. They're werewolves.
Yeah. Brett, I don't know if you were watching earlier, but I believe it was you in the Discord that had said Legendary Encounters Aliens would have been one of your IP games, and that was my number 5. So I want to give you some credit there. Yeah, it's crazy. Direwolves are back in real life before George R.R. Martin finished the last book. Yeah, George.
Yeah,
come on, man.
That's just embarrassing.
I will say, if you like George, his writing, and you want to read 2 other really good books, or audiobooks or whatever, Fever Dream is amazing. It's a vampire story that takes place in like the 1800s. It's like on a steamboat on the Mississippi. Awesome. Doesn't go where you think it's going to go. And then Armageddon Rag is a really cool book. And it's about sort of a music writer and he's writing about a band. It's kind of like, think of like Led Zeppelin or the Doors, but like they died, but now they're back and like something weird's going on there. So yeah, really cool book. I think that was a 70s, early 80s. But anyways, there's my
book in his series.
To Bob's point, I'll pass on reading those in the event that movies come out. I don't want to ruin them.
Oh, I feel like this is a troll question. Is this a trolling question?
What's
Last Night on Earth?
The Stronghold game. I was trying to talk about.
No. He's trying to find the Stronghold game. I found it. It's a Panic Station.
Oh, I don't know.
Panic
Station. Okay.
So that was the name of it. That was like the first board game that they didn't have the IP for the thing.
Oh, sure.
They were like, let's do that, and they made Panic Station. So, anyways, that was a sidetrack that didn't have to happen. I was going to see if you had played that, Mike, and how it compared to the thing, but obviously we had not played it.
Wow, this looks so generic.
The Panic Station? Yeah. It was in the tin as well.
Yeah.
I apologize if I'm accidentally sharing the StreamYard thing.
I do.
No, but you just shared a link to your OnlyFans again.
Yep.
That wasn't an accident.
Whoopsies.
I do love these kind of
games. How'd that get in there?
I can't believe I did that.
What? Oh.
All right. What you got, Timmy?
Okay, number 2.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, this is tough. Okay. Gosh, I got so many written down. I'm trying not to like step on the other guy's list. Daniel, I'm happy to stop on your toes. Mostly because I have no idea what you'll pick, but I'm trying not to step on Mike and Bob's toes. So, okay. Well, I'm gonna go with another horror themed game, and this does a really crazy thing and kind of has no business being as fun as it is. And I just got the production copy. Everybody's Kickstarters are filling now for House of a Thousand Corpses. So this is also from Trick or Treat Studios.
They've done an awesome job with their games.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be right back.
So the House of a Thousand Corpses board game, you are playing as the Firefly family. So you are the bad guys in this. You are going through the house, you're searching rooms, trying to find basically your victims. And then you are either going to kill them for points or you're going to drag them out of the house to sacrifice to Dr. Satan for more points. But it's harder to do because you've got to get them all the way out of the house. So this has got like a really interesting action selection mechanic where you are spending stamina to do cards. You're going to line up all of your actions under your player board, and your player board is going to have costs attributed to where that action is. So if I do a move action, basically it could be free, but then maybe that attack action or a search action is next, then that's going to cost an adrenaline. And then you're only going to recharge so much of that adrenaline each round. So you have to be really smart with how you spend your resources because you're not going to get them all back. And of course, there's like a sheriff walking around that's going to mess up your plans. You can only let so many people escape. So it's a very difficult co-op, but really fun, really interesting, really unique. I have not played any game that plays like this. And when they reached out, a year ago, and they're like, "Oh, we've got a House of a Thousand Corpses board game," and I'm like, "Well, how the heck are they going to do that?" And then we played it, and it's like, oh, "Okay, this is pretty fun." So yeah, you're the bad guys. You're the Firefly family, and there's 5 or 6 different asymmetrical characters you can play as. They all have different abilities, but kind of a wild game and a lot of fun. So they also did the Halloween games that were designed by Emerson Matsuuchi, who is a very well-regarded designer. I forget who
Emerson did this one too.
No, Emerson didn't do this one. I forget who did House of a Thousand Corpses. But it's not like they're just like, rando people like, "Oh, we don't, we're just throwing out a game because we own the license." Like, no, they actually are like getting people to like quality designers to make games in these IPs. So
this is the same designer as Blood Orders.
Oh, okay. This is better than Blood Orders. I like Blood Orders fine. I think it's got some flaws, but this is better.
It's fun to play as the bad guy.
And it's standees. I don't have minis. I don't have the minis. It's got the standees.
Oh, well, that's good. That's better.
Yeah, Mike's showing the special edition standees that you buy separate. Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's hot right there.
Yeah, that's your track.
Great looking standee right there.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
That's right. So this might be a fine game, but you might have noticed I gave you a kind of a look when you said that.
Nope, it's fine.
Real quick thing, I used to love horror movies, and in college we would go to Dillon's and we would rent 5 horror movies and we would watch them, take them back, rent 5 more. About 2003, that's when the movie came out. I was finally kind of getting out of it and being like, I don't know if I like these horror movies anymore. I think I'm done with them. And this movie, I worked at Blockbuster at the time. This came out and it like gave me a physical like gag reflex every time I walked past the cover. I was like, I can't deal with this movie. This just took horror movies to another level that I don't even want to experience. So this one has like weird trauma for me. So I'm like, I can't even do that one.
Listen, everybody check off Tim alienates the guest off your bingo card. No, that's great. That's great. Honestly, this is the last Rob Zombie movie that I've enjoyed watching. It's the only one. It's the only one I've liked. But yeah, this movie's weird, and it's got like a really weird, interesting story behind it, as far as like studio cuts and things like that. There's a version of this movie that no one will ever see, that is almost completely different. But like I enjoyed the hell out of this board game, and really had a good time with it. So,
all right, well, that's fair. I'm also like slightly actually I'm a big wrestling buff all of a sudden. And there's a wrestler called Bray Wyatt. He actually passed away like during the COVID times. He was only 35, very tragic. But he had this horror motif, and he was a Firefly or something like that. He was
one of the Firefly family.
Yeah. So I think they were ripping that off. I just made that connection. That was a freebie. Nothing to do with board games.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That is fine. It's your turn now. Number 2, you better bring it here. Finally, I made a pick that Daniel didn't like. I was the first one.
I didn't like it. It's okay though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Again, no shame there. But that one gives me chills. Okay. The number 2 is going to be for while Marvel is my favorite IP, this could be my second favorite IP. I'm by no means a Trekkie, but I really, really like The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Those two are phenomenal series. So my number 2 is this behemoth right here from WizKids Game, and that is Star Trek Fleet Captains.
I got that game right over. I'm pointing to my copy of that game right now. Let's go.
Nice. Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, this game is great. And I got this when I started my board game journey. It was kind of new. And I bought our game store, 31st Century. They had a demo copy. So I actually got this game for like $40, which is like a steal because it was even like 10 years ago, it was like $100. But yeah, it has. I'm trying to get out the pieces here. Not
it's got a lot of ships in there. A lot of ships.
They have just tons of the little like starships in here, and they have the Clix bases, which they don't work very well. I used to play HeroClix as well, go figure, because it was Marvel.
Same.
And that was a criticism. In this one, they didn't do a good job at the bases, but the ships are phenomenal. But you're going around and you're exploring space, and you're flipping over the tiles to find out which things you're encountering. Seems kind of normal, or kind of what most of these games are, but the big difference in this was there's this deck building aspect of it. And what you got to do is look through a big deck of cards that are like all the Klingons, and there are like 6 different like type of cards here, and you actually got to go through and pick like 3 of the 6 to kind of construct your own unique deck when you went up against a person. So it kind of added just a basic, exploration game, but with these little cards here. And because this is Star Trek, and Star Trek is not all about battling, this game is not all about battling. There is definitely a battling aspect, especially if you're the Klingons and you go heavy attack, but you can do science missions where you're flying around trying to find planets and putting your away team down onto the planet to do research and picking them back up. And it's essentially a race to 10 victory points, and you're getting the victory points by killing people, by exploring, by doing science research, also just doing some other technological advancements. It's pretty much a one-on-one game. You can play more than 2 players, but in the box it's 2 players. You get more factions, you can play more. But it was just it was a really cool Star Trek game. There really hasn't been very many Star Trek games that have been worth our time. The one that I could put on the list instead of this was Ascendancy, which I really enjoy as well, but I wanted to go hipster, so I went with the older one.
So it's funny, I bought a copy of this game, I think for like $30 or $40, but the guy who I bought it from didn't, the bases kept breaking. So what he did was he took magnets and he put them on all the ships, and they just click directly to the base. So he's like, before I sell you this, I want you to see it, like, so like the ships aren't raised up. But he put all these magnets on there, and it's like, they look great. It still is cool because they click right in, but they were at the time, right? WizKids was doing everything like HeroClix style, which is kind of annoying. Yeah. And I played a ton of HeroClix back in the day, like when the first 3 or 4 series of HeroClix sets. I was playing in tournaments at my game store. Like I was in deep, way deep. But great.
Same here. My not nerd wife actually started playing those tournaments with me, and she actually won a HeroClix tournament. That's her claim to nerd fame. She's like, "Well, one time I won that tournament."
Nice.
She made an Invisible Woman wall. I just remember that because you could use the same character multiple times.
Yes.
So she had like 4 Invisible Womans, and she just put up a wall and like marched towards people and mowed them down.
Well, and the old Fantastic Four ability was you could copy any other faction's ability or something like that, I think, right? So there was like stuff like that you could do too. My wife won a Marvel Legendary tournament one time. I was so proud of her. She's not a nerd at all.
Yeah. That's awesome. So Star Trek Fleet Captains.
All right, Mike.
Nice. All right.
I dare you.
Ooh. 404, Tim Bot not found.
Yes.
The hamster's hungry. Go feed it.
404.exe error.
I really did jinx you guys. I'm so sorry.
No, this is
it's standard fare. It's on your bingo card. So if you've got it on your bingo card, go ahead and mark that off. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go back to another movie IP. And this is a movie. So it's Dune. But which Dune game, you might ask? So here's the thing. I didn't get into Dune when I was younger, so I tried to watch the newer Dune movies. And the first one is very slow, so I really struggled with it. I had to give it like 2 watches to get through it.
Very dry.
Then I appreciated what I was watching, but it was really dragged for me the first time. But I do really appreciate it now. But there's, of course, a couple deck builders that are very highly ranked on BGG that I've become a little disenfranchised with because I went and bought all the expansions for Dune Imperium, and they're like, oh, well, here's Uprising, and this is better. Well, dang it, I went and got all the expansions for the first one. Which version is better? And Paul Denon's one of my favorite designers as well. So I'm going to go with old school Dune, the Big Daddy from Gale Force 9.
Wow.
What I like about this is that it has the appearance of like being a war game, but it's actually more about building alliances and political ties that you can create and making people think you're going to do things that you're not actually going to do and using your special powers to your advantage. I really like this game. It was really long. That's probably my biggest issue with it. But like, for example, I was the Spacing Guild and I had the cheapest price at putting like more troops out onto the board, and I could collect income because everybody had to pay the Spacing Guild to put their troops back out on the board. So that was my way of generating income. But the Spacing Guild's victory condition, everybody's got their own like unique victory condition, and maybe you guys will remember yours. I don't. But as a Spacing Guild, I basically had to make sure nobody won by the end of round 7. So I was playing stall tactics the entire game. So my goal was just to take up space and make sure nobody else won. And we actually never even got to round 7 because it was too late. It was too long. We didn't finish. But I really enjoyed this game. And again, I'm a little peeved at all these versions of Dune Imperium now.
You guys remember? That's very confusing.
Mike, I thought when we played, there was a winner. There was a winner.
I thought you and Andrew won. Didn't you guys team up and win or something? Because I was the Fremen, and the only way I was going to win is if I teamed up with the frickin' Harkonnen. I'm like,
that was me.
Not thematic at all.
And that was me, and Bob hated it. He hated the idea of having a team up with me.
For 2 reasons. One was Tim, and 2 was the Harkonnen. You have to lose.
And he couldn't tell which one was worse. Yeah. Like, which one is more despicable? I can't decide.
I thought it was like I thought we stopped early. Honestly,
no, we didn't. No, we played the whole thing. I
had that tracked though.
We played the whole.
It was a long game. Did you just black out halfway through?
Yeah, he might have.
Definitely possible.
Possible. We played it like a little over a year ago, and I've only got like 1 play of it, and there's a lot going on. Like, it's very asymmetric. Everybody plays completely differently from the other.
But hey, look, I was right. Mike and Andrew won the only 1 play that I've got logged.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm glad that your BG stats is correct this time.
Hey, we'll see you later, Chris.
Your Crokinole stats there, sir.
Yeah, this one I enjoy this one. These kind of games I really like. Very asymmetric and wheeling and dealing and building alliances.
You just like the fact that everybody had to pay you to do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
That. Yeah.
That's true.
That's also very true. So yeah, a lot of fun though. I do like Dune Imperium.
It's fine. Overseas is welcome.
It can be a bit long as well, especially if somebody decides when someone has 9 that this is my last effort to stay in this game. So
yeah, I always try to come from like 7 to 10 because
beat on the leader.
Yeah,
and then it adds another hour and a half.
Yep.
But they're great. Anyway, there you go. There's my 2.
Hey, safe travels, David.
Man.
Good luck.
Lord of the Rings game somewhere.
I'm going to address that. I don't think any of you are going to make the list. I'll just make a prediction. I haven't played Duel. War of the Ring card game was okay, and the trick taking game was very meh. So those are my only Lord of the Rings games.
The One Ring or the War for the Ring, the big.
I own War for the Ring, but haven't played yet. Yeah, so
I love Lord of the Rings. I went to friggin' New Zealand. I see where they filmed all that shit, but yeah, the games have been lackluster for me. All right, let's go to number one.
Confrontations. That was a pretty good one. I don't know if you've ever played that one. It's like Risk, but it's like Risk. Not Risk. It's like Stratego, and you have the good side. That's it. It's actually about to be re-released here very soon. They just announced it, but that one's actually worth checking out. It's like an old, like probably 15-year-old game at this point. But you have the dark side and the good side, and you run up to them, and you don't know who you're going to face. And then when you flip it, you compare powers. So it's pretty much Stratego, but Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
I tried to challenge myself, and I kept all superheroes and Star Wars off this list. If I didn't, Rebellion would probably be number one. Just saying.
Mike, just be quiet. You might.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Oh wow.
Jeez, Mike, come on, man.
People like that game.
This is Mike just stepping on lists. Here we go. Why don't you just name every other game you can think of?
Okay, hold on. There's a deck building game. There's the.
Yes, my number one is Star Wars Rebellion. Thanks, Mike. But no, like, I mean, I love Star Wars. I've played a lot of different versions and types of Star Wars games. This game does it right. I feel like I'm in the Star Wars universe. I'm trying, when I'm the Empire, I'm subjugating planets. I'm trying to turn people to the dark side. I'm freezing people in carbonite. When I'm the Rebellion, I'm just kind of trying to be like a nuisance. I'm trying to, I don't know about that.
You like Star Wars Risk?
Yeah, that's good.
You know, I'm trying to build alliances. I'm trying to not be found. Like, this game is just awesome. You know, it's the way the minis and the pieces are fantastic. This was one of the first games that Mike came over to my house, I think, for. I don't know if it was one of the first games that came over the house, but I was talking to Mike and I was like, hey, we should get together, play a game. And he's like, well, it have to be something kind of epic. And I was like, Star Wars Rebellion? I'll be over in a little bit.
It was late. It was like, I want to say like 10:30.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's gotta be worth it.
Yeah.
He mentioned it, and I was like, that was literally the one game that I was like, I'll be over there for.
First time Tim and I played this was a late night game as well down at his sister's house. And I ended up going through like I probed every planet. And finally found his.
It came down to the very last card.
And then during COVID, Tim and I played this over a computer, and so basically, it's actually not that hard to do. The only real difference you have to have is the Rebellion player holds the probe deck, and then we'll show the Empire player 2 cards each turn. Then that way, when they need to find a new planet, they can just take the deck, find the planet they want, and set it to the side or whatever.
Because Bob and I each owned a copy. So Bob basically had the control board, and I just made sure my board mirrored his board. And
had camera overhead down on top of it. Yeah, it was, and it's just fantastic. If you love Star Wars, you can send Luke to Dagobah, train him to be a Jedi, and upgrade him. So much awesomeness in this game. And then some people have issues with the base combat system, and I get it. It's not great. The expansion you could get, the Rogue One expansion, awesome. It adds new units. It makes the combat better. And then it gives you options on the decks that you use for your missions and quests and whatnot. You can build a Death Star and blow up planets. Come on, what more do you want to do in a Star Wars game?
Yeah. It does everything you want it to.
Yep. That's great. I also knew somebody would have it on their list. So
yeah, I mean, it was literally the first one I wrote down because Star Wars is one of my favorite IPs, and this game is just phenomenal. So I knew it was going to be my number one no matter what.
Yeah, it's great.
See, so your buddy Phil, I found Outer Rim disappointing, but I think that's because I played Zaya Legend of a Drift System, and I got to customize my ship more and do more. And Outer Rim was so limiting compared. If I had played Outer Rim first, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But
yeah.
He said I didn't like it. I liked it just fine. It was okay. I had a good time playing it. I think I was playing with one person that took forever on their turns, and that
forget about it.
Drag. But other than that, it was good.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah. I try not to play games with people like that because I have a problem with that, and I don't like that.
Let's go.
Like, come on, man! Like, we're just playing a game.
Fast and slow.
If we're playing for
money on the line.
Yeah, if we're playing for money or a trophy or something, I get it. Right. But we're not. Like, come on, man. It's a board game. Okay, well, I'll go with the one since nobody else has so far. And I'm just gonna go with Slay the Spire.
I'm really glad you did that, Tim.
I'll step on Mike's backup number one.
Yes.
He's like, nobody take my pick.
Yeah, since Mike spoiled Bob's pick, I will spoil Mike's pick.
Yeah.
No, this I understand what Daniel's saying, where it's like, it's tough that it's an IP, but Slay the Spire was such a known quantity as a video game, right? It is a video game that plays like a board game, 100%. But they did such a good job of translating this. This is a video game that I've owned for several years. I still play all the time. And then when I got the board game just a few weeks ago, I like immediately just to like learn the rules. I played through the first act like 3 different times, and I really only needed to play like 2 battles to learn the rules because the rules are very straightforward, especially if you're familiar with the video game. But I was having so much fun that I was just like, man, I want to see how this character goes. Just see how this character goes. And the only reason I even stopped was because it was almost 1 a.m. and it's like, okay, I got to go to bed. I thoroughly have enjoyed this game, and I really appreciate the port. I was incredibly skeptical of this when it was on the Kickstarter. I'm like, really? Are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to do a good job? Then I just got the bug, and I had to keep looking for it, and I found a copy. I traded for it, and like threw a little money in there to sweeten the pot, so I could get like the collector's edition of it. And I'm glad I did. I do not regret it. And I just was like, wow, this game was really, it did what I wanted it to do. It did not disappoint. And we even had a friend on the show the week it was going to show up at my house. He hated it. He didn't like it. Blah, blah, blah. You could just like, somebody can alpha game this, and maybe they can, but I don't play co-ops with alpha gamers. Any cooperative game you can play can get potentially taken over by an alpha gamer. But here's the thing is the guys that I play games with, like we would much rather have a good time than absolutely maximize every little minutia of the strategy. And also Bob plays games with us. Just kidding. No, Bob's one of my favorite people to play difficult co-ops with because we're really good at them. And when they're challenging, it's just that much better and more satisfying of an experience. So I just really love how they did the card upgrade system. The way that you randomize the tiers and that you just get the cards, like it feels so true to the video game because there's these amazing cards sometimes and you're like, I just need that card so bad. I need that card so bad, and you'll never see it. I'll do 3 runs in the video game and never see my favorite card, and then I'll get that card and I'm like, I'm gonna win it all, and then I die because I get too cocky because I got that card. And the board game does the exact same thing. And I just really appreciate the translation and what a great job they did of bringing that over and that whole experience. It is my favorite video game conversion of a board game. I'm looking forward to Slay the Spire 2. For now, it's going to be a video game. I don't know I hope they port it over to. I'm just gonna in advance, say I'm sure it's gonna be great, and I hope that they decide to do a physical version as well. And I will not doubt it next time around, assuming Mega Crit and the same design team are all involved. So, Slay the Spire, numero uno.
Yeah, that game is fantastic. It was my game of the year last year.
Right on.
No negatives about the actual gameplay, but I do have to call out one negative on this game, and I don't know if it's true for you guys. Did your sleeve start to peel off?
Have not played it enough yet where that's happened. So,
oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to re-sleeve them all because the sleeves are necessary because of the nature of the upgrade.
yes.
And literally they are crinkling off. Like I don't know if they got a bad batch or whatever, but that Slay the Spire green back there, it's coming right off.
So
also, the miniatures should have been standees.
Yeah, I will go ahead and say, as somebody who has played a shit ton of Magic and sleeved a ton of cards, a lot of sleeves that have like images like that printed on the back just aren't great for long-term shuffling this and that. I would just get some Dragon Shield sleeves. You can do like the matted backs or just the plain backs. And those you can shuffle the crap out of them and they'll stay. And that'd be my recommendation. Dragon Shield makes awesome sleeves. So
when I've got to re-sleeve mine, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I probably should. And the real debate is, do I use the same color or not? So
gotcha. You can do custom colors for each character.
Yeah, you could do red, blue, green, and
I mean, there are like the colorless cards and the like curses that need to be omnicolor, but you can just leave those as they go. So
as you unlock them or whatever. Like, how many cards are in the deck for each player? Do you know?
A lot.
Probably over 100.
More than 100?
Oh, there's a lot of cards.
That deck does not look like as big as I played Commander, and a Commander sleeve deck is like this big. That's like that. I'd say it's probably closer to 80. So if you bought like a deck of Dragon Shields, like come in a box of like 100, 103, you'd have plenty to like leave in the box to then, those cards got added to my deck, throw them in there, and I can shuffle with them, and then just pull them out.
Yeah. I'll have to do that.
85 cards
worth Dragon Shield for sure.
Yep.
And I do want to point out that this is also in our March Madness of board gaming, and the poll closed, but this actually beat Lords of Vegas just tonight.
Yeah.
So it's gonna go to the final four. So and it was a sizable defeat too. So it's got retribution on Mechs vs. Minion.
A worthy opponent. A worthy opponent.
I think given how well known the character art is, and how mid these minis are, I'd be okay with standees here.
There you go. Well, those are gray ones. The ones I have are actually colored.
Same, Daniel. Same. That's probably a prototype or a pre-production or
They're
something.
Still fairly miniatures. Some acrylic standees would have been nice.
Yep, I agree. All right. Well, I'll move on to my number one. I couldn't avoid Marvel the whole night. So my number one IP game is also my number one game of all time. But before I say that one, I do want to give a couple of caveats or shout outs. Unmatched. Absolutely fantastic. Love Unmatched in every iteration. Even I don't even know about The Witcher. Bought The Witcher because why not? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's a fine IP. Bought it. Like, I love Unmatched. It's a great thing. And then also the other one that I have to give a shout out to is Marvel Legendary. It used to be my favorite game of all time. And I used to say, what in the world could actually dethrone Marvel Legendary? Marvel Champions. That is the game that dethroned Marvel Legendary. Champions is somebody asked about Lord of the Rings earlier. My friend, our producer Randy, Lord of the Rings is his favorite game of all time. This he plays with me because I won't play Lord of the Rings because I'm like, I want to play this. But this is I'm not a big fan of like deck construction games. I love to play them, like a Magic, a Star Wars Unlimited. Is that what it is? Unlimited, the trading card game. I love those games. One Piece, I'm playing that with my son. The least favorite thing is deck building. I hate deck building. So the fact that this game, even when you deck build, you have 15 cards associated to a hero. You have 15 that can be added from an aspect, and then you have like a couple cards from like the basic. it makes even the deck building in this game is less overwhelming for people who don't like deck building like myself. So it has made deck construction, not building, deck construction even fun for me. But the character decks all play so differently. They play very thematically. The villains are also very unique scenarios. Every game I play, it never really feels like the same game twice. Play this two-handed or cooperative with Randy, and there's a lot of discussion on the table. There's a lot of how are we going to overcome this obstacle. It's a really good like team building exercise, honestly. Obviously can't pull that one off at work, but this is the type of game you want to play when you are doing that. If you're like, hey, we should just get together and chat and talk and really strategize together, like this, that's what shines about co-op games that are deck builders. You're not alpha gaming it, but you're discussing together.
No, there's a difference for sure.
Your results. Yeah, exactly. So
there is a difference.
Marvel Champions is my favorite.
That's great.
So. I love that you have your your secret identity on one side and then your hero side. So when you're on the hero side, you're fighting, you're doing stuff, you're taking damage, and then when you need to heal up, you switch back to your secret identity. You're healing, you're doing some other things, and they're scheming, and so they're still doing things, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I love how they can get versatile with it, because like while that what you said is 100% true, except for when you're playing like Gambit. Gambit spends most of his time in his alter ego form, thwarting, because he's a thief. So while he's in his alter ego form, he just gets to get rid of some of those schemings, and he can play cards while he is in his alter ego form. So you're like, most of the time, you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to be the thief Remy LeBeau, and I'm going to steal some stuff and thwart the things from behind the scenes. So every deck is super cool, super awesome.
Yeah, I don't have the Gambit one. I've got a buttload of those characters, but I don't have Gambit.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of the characters too, but
you better get them now, because they announced that they're going to start cycling them out. So they are going to start taking things out of production. So get them all now while you still can, because you don't know which ones are going to be left.
I was doing that with Marvel Legendary sort of towards the end of that being, done. And just trying to grab up as many of the characters and things as I could for that reason.
Rocket Raccoon is super fun, and so is Black Panther. I have a good time with both those.
I like Black Panther. He's one of my favorites. Got to play X-23 recently. She was really fun and unique. She did a lot of damage to herself to untap. But she also had you play a card, you heal, but then you play another card to do damage. But if you do damage to yourself, you actually get to heal again. So a lot of combos. And I didn't say that, but that's actually another reason I love these games. Combo-rifics. And that's what makes all these games so special, card games anyways, is that you just feel really good when you take your turn and you feel really powerful. And they do a great job at doing that.
Nice. Yep, love this game.
Yeah, great pick.
Save my Marvel pick for the best game. So
I probably can't. Okay, well, Tim stole two of my picks.
You're welcome.
So I'm either reaching like really deep into my honorable mentions, or I'm gonna slap a Marvel game in here. I'm gonna slap a Marvel game in here because the other two guys are gonna love this one, and I already know it. It's Marvel Remix. Yes. Marvel Remix is just so good. So this is the re-implementation of Fantasy Realms, but this is the version that you want to play. The card quality is better. The art is way better. The scoring is much easier, and it just feels a lot more thematic to the theme.
Great pick.
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. I have no qualms.
I own it, and I haven't played it yet.
You have not played Marvel Remix yet? Are you shitting me?
It's amazing because the game takes 10 minutes and it takes 30 seconds to learn.
Bob, IndieCon, if not before IndieCon, at IndieCon, we are playing Marvel Remix and you can't.
Seriously. I don't even know where my copy is, but
yeah, I mean, you keep that picture up there. Kang. Yeah. Have you ever seen somebody play Kang and not win?
I don't remember
he's specifically. You get he's like -10, but then you get +5 for every unique symbol that you have. Oh, that's a different language. Well,
or symbol like differente. Oh yeah, it says for each different symbol. You're right.
There you go. So it's like he scores 40 points every time. The winning score is 80. It's like he is half your points.
Wow.
I do enjoy this game, but that card bothers me, and I don't know if it's just been one-offs. I haven't played it tons, so I don't know if your experience with King.
I haven't played it a ton either.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, and that would be an easy fix, anyways, if he really was broken, which I don't know if he is or not, but you could just remove him.
Toss him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just improves.
Have you played the other ones?
Like Fantasy Realms?
Yeah, or the Star Trek one, or any of them?
Oh, no. I've only played Fantasy Realms, which like they've re-implemented a couple times. But
Yeah.
no other version of it.
Okay.
There's
So you like this
Star
one better
Trek
than Fantasy Realms, though?
Yeah,
There
it just
I think, is it called Captain's Chair?
Oh, is
No,
that
it's not
this one
Captain's
too?
Chair.
No. Yeah, it's
Maybe
just the card stock's a lot better, the art's a lot better than Fantasy Realms, and it's a lot easier to score. Like I almost
Okay.
feel like I need I never really liked the wilds in Fantasy Realms. I think they convolute a very simple rule set, and trying to get that, like, explain that to new players. And if I haven't played in a while, I will even sometimes get tripped up on how the wilds work, and they can work as any suit, but it just, I don't know. I think they convolute the rule set. So I definitely feel like this is the best version of Fantasy Realms.
Cool. I approve. The Star Trek one is
Also,
called Missions.
okay. Also easier to do the math on scoring. Scoring in this game is like around 100 or low hundreds. Fantasy Realm scores can easily be like 200-300. So it's even more math, and it's more confusing scoring. So everything about this version is better.
Cool.
So
Well, awesome.
no issues at all with putting this as my number one. I do really like this game. It's a
I was
amazing gateway game.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually one of the games we're going to give away at our convention. So it's over there on that stack. So
there you go.
Yeah, you really just
I
need the app for Fantasy Realms. That's the only way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the scoring in the game, it's funny. It's for this remix too. It's like the scoring is as long as the game is. Which is also both a pro and a con, because it's like that's how fast the game is, but the scoring really is that long.
Just make sure you got everything, but yeah.
Yep. I before we kind of finish this out, I have to say this is not an honorable mention, but I want to do one on the flip side, and that is the worst IP game. And it just like Marvel, I love Marvel, I love X-Men the most. So when I heard Age of Heroes coming out, look at this beautiful art cover. This is an amazing art. I was so excited. Designed by the person who did Lords of Waterdeep. This game is bad. It's so bad.
I've heard that. How did they screw this up so bad? Like, Marvel Lords of Waterdeep sounds awesome.
Right? Yeah. So you have a hand of cards that you're playing onto the board, and those are like the new locations. Well, you have a hand of cards, so you're managing this hand. Halfway through the game, you can't play cards anymore. So like halfway through the game, half of the game just stops, but you still have to get cards because like those are some of the locations, and it's just pasted on. And then the hero powers are like you get extra points for doing red missions, and you get extra points for doing blue missions. The problem is red missions are so much harder to complete than blue missions, but I'm getting the same amount of extra points. So like I get 5 extra points because I played 1 red, and I get 20 extra because I've completed 4 blue, which is actually like 3 times the amount of points that the 1 red gave me.
Yeah.
So just sad, but it does have acrylic. Check that out.
Now we're talking.
Back to
man.
Oh yeah.
Yep. There's road.
Again, I will never get rid of this game because of how lovely the art is. And it's a really cool art too, because they took art from the comic books and they repurposed it, and they like redid it in this like watercolor.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Anyways, as beautiful as it is, it'll never leave my game shelf. It'll never get played again. I was so sad. most disappointing game of my life.
Hey, Yuval, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I always felt like some people try to say Lords of Waterdeep is thematic. It's not, but it is a great game regardless.
It is good. It is good.
Nobody did go after Battlestar. Maybe we've talked about it a lot.
I think I went away from Battlestar just because I thought somebody else might mention it. But yeah.
I mean, like if I was talking about Battlestar, I'd switch to the Cthulhu IP and say Unfathomable because I really enjoy that one.
Spicy take, but not wrong. Yeah. I guess some that I didn't mention potentially would have been Marvel Legendary.
Those are long.
What's wrong? Oh, the Firefly. Yeah, I haven't played it. I also have the Firefly Misbehaving game, but we haven't played that yet either, which is a deck builder. But I'm a huge fan of Marvel Legendary. I have a ton of stuff, almost everything for Marvel Legendary.
Say hi.
Love it. Hey, Winston. I am a big fan, obviously, of DC deck building. It's funny because I almost put Tyrants of the Underdark as one of my favorites.
That was on my short list.
But I don't know how thematic that actually is, like other than because I feel like you could almost do any theme on that game potentially.
Sure, but the fact that they're all like the different houses of the Underdark, they're all very backstabby and under, it's pretty thematic.
I guess my issue was I'm aware that it's an IP. I just was not familiar with the IP, right? So like I wasn't comfortable like speaking on how. So I would have just been talking about it being a game that I absolutely love that is based on an IP that I know nothing about.
If you want to borrow, I have got like the big like books that have like the 3 books together in them.
Oh, all together
of Drow of like Dritz's like.
Sure. Oh, they're the R.A. Salvatore.
Yep, R.A. Yep. So it's like the Dark Elf trilogy and Legacy of the Drow. They're pretty good reads, and you're a fast reader. If you want to borrow, one.
I might take you up on that.
Read. They're really good.
Yeah.
The other ones that I would have mentioned really fast. Is I almost put Comic Hunters on my list, but it's not.
Yes,
it's not. I guess it's technically you're collecting Marvel comics.
Yeah,
and I really wanted to put it on my list, but I didn't because I absolutely adore that game. And then one I wanted to put on my list, but I haven't played it yet. Is Night of the Living Dead Zombicide, because there's 2 versions. You can play the Romero version. Well, actually, when a family member of yours is dead and they come back, you flip your player mat over and you go to like the black and white version, right? Like, so you go to the Romero version.
Oh.
So there's like an interesting aspect to that, right? Where you just make more fun versions of Zombicide. I own it, haven't played it, but I couldn't put it on my list because I haven't played it, but I definitely want to. Anyways, just a couple of them that were.
Yeah, so the only one on my short list that didn't make it. It's funny because it's another Trick or Treat Studios. I talked about Halloween. Tim talked about House of 1,000 Corpses, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, dude, that one's so good.
It's done really well. It's a great co-op. But you got to play with the slaughterhouse rules because as you take your turn and you're moving around, you do stuff, and then you pull out of a bag, and when you pull, good things, bad things can happen, extra actions, or like you start to activate some of the other like bad guys. But then you can draw Leatherface tokens. In the basic mode, you can just stop whenever you want. But in the slaughterhouse mode, if you draw a Leatherface, you gotta draw again. And so you can just keep drawing Leather. And every time you draw him, he moves closer to you. So it really builds that tension.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun.
Oh, it's a really good game. Yeah.
It's done really well.
It is really good. I forgot all about that damn game. How did I forget about that game? It's good. It's fun.
Yeah, it's on my short list. All the rest of mine got mentioned, so.
Any other honorable mentions or like dishonorable mentions?
I mean, my dishonorable mention I already said it once, was the Red Rising. I mean, like, I was so excited for that game and I was so let down because not only because I bought the collector's edition and that actively hurts the gameplay because like the color of the cubes makes it much harder for me to see and tell them apart. And like the cards are beautiful. but I didn't enjoy. Like I said, I'd rather play Fantasy Realms. It's the same type of game.
Yeah,
like I feel like they, after playing Scythe, which is a great, Stonemaier game, Red Rising could have done something so similar where you have these battling factions with maybe hidden traitors or something like that. Like it could have been so cool, like to do it like more of what the book is about, and not just like, well, it has the characters that are in the book.
Right. Right. That's fair.
I want to shout out Phillips down there, Starry Night. He said Trogdor. Are you familiar with the Strong Bad property?
Yeah, we did play the Trogdor game. It was actually more fun than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
It was fun. We had a good experience, but it was a solo game, and nothing you did actually mattered because in the end, you just burninated the countryside and you won. So it was
burninating the villagers.
This is the best solo game that played with 6 players I've ever played.
6-player solo game.
Yes,
it really was.
It was dumb fun. I wouldn't want to necessarily own it, but I'm glad I played somebody else's copy.
Yep.
But yeah,
I wouldn't mind owning it just because of the IP itself. Like I love Strong Bad and it looks really cool on the shelf. But yeah, I won't get it now because I know how bad it is. I'm not going to get it just for the art.
Right.
Not this time.
Maybe
if somebody gave it to me, I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
Or super cheap. Or if I showed up at a convention in Kansas that was free and they were giving away a bunch of games, and they're like, hey, this is a game you get for like walking in, I'd be like, oh. Right. Hell yeah, I got Trogdor. Let's go.
If we ever find Trogdor for $1, it's going on the wheel. We'll get 20 of them and
let's go. Let's go. Well, all right, boys. We're at like 3 hours. That's pretty good. It went fast.
Quite the run.
Daniel, I hope you had a good time, man.
I loved it.
Awesome.
I love this.
You unfortunately will have to come back on and do this again with us sometime.
Yeah, I would love to. I haven't thought of the topic. We could do hipster games.
Oh,
Tim's in.
Yeah. Like most obscure games we own, right? Like kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Like it requires a little bit of research, but not too much. Those are the best lists.
Oh yeah, that'd be super fun.
Games I own.
Yeah.
And someone else had a really good thing too, is the good art but poor mechanics.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a bunch of those.
Yeah.
I've fallen for those before.
Yep, fallen there.
That's pretty much the whole board game hobby, to be honest.
Oh man. It's one or the other, it feels like sometimes. But when you get both, it's so good. When you get good games and good art, it's the best.
Yep.
It is the best. All right. One more time, Daniel, please run through all of your stuff before we wrap up. I want your podcast. I want your convention. Like, let's go.
Yeah, join us around the board. It's a show that's a little like game showy. We talk about 4 different segments. We give each other points, and we get a winner. I'm also on FBC Gamers. You can follow me there. That is where Around the Board lives, and we do conventions annually this weekend, April 11th and 12th in Gardner, Kansas, right outside of Kansas City is where this one's being held at. Can't make it this year because you have 2 days notice. Try to make it next year. We give away over 400 games this year, and they're top quality games. And also, if you're on FBC Gamers around March, we do March Madness of board gaming, and it's a blast to interact and fill out a bracket and pretend you're playing like actually being sports ball-y, but it's board games and nerdy stuff. So join us around the board.
I can dig that. Mike and Bob, you guys got anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Mike and I are going to be doing some TTS stuff coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that.
It's true.
There you go.
Oh man, did I make it go away? Oh no, I think I made it go away.
Why'd you make it go away?
Are you talking about your girlfriend again?
Wow. No, it went away. Where'd it go?
Stings.
But while he's looking for that, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for having me on. This was a blast. It really was. I'll come on anytime. Because I will admit, I was a little like worried coming in. I was like, I don't know if I can talk this much. I guess we brought up Marvel, and then there you go. I can talk forever. So, hopefully, I won't be as.
I mean, if we can't make our guests feel comfortable, then we're not doing our job. So I'm really glad you had a good time, man. I'm really glad you had a good time. You fit right in. You know, everything clicked together really well. Like, so I appreciate you taking a flyer on us and doing it.
Make sure if you're going to Gen Con, Origins, or Grand Con, let us know. And we'll put some games.
I'm going to Gen Con this year.
Okay,
we'll be there.
All right, we're gonna play a game together then this year,
and
even if it's a 15, 20-minute game. I don't care.
Yeah.
Look at this gigantic stack of giveaway games. This is insane. I was just scrolling through the group and I saw this. I'm like, I got to pull this picture up again. This is nuts. Well done.
There's a lot of goodness in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there are games that are missing there. We were sponsored also by Lucky Duck, and they sent us about 24 games. We also had 2 other game stores that provided about 25 more games. So we have about 50 more games than what's being shown there as well.
That's amazing.
And then also, that's not the wheel games either. So we have 200 games that are not there as well. That's going to be on the wheel. So when you walk in, you'll get a game.
Oh my God. Let's go to Kansas. I got to go to Wisconsin this weekend. I'm taking the kids for like spring break. We're going to do some stuff. So I can't go to Kansas. Yeah, it's on the way. It's basically on the way.
Yeah, it's basically right on the way.
Basically.
I'm sure I could talk Kelly into a 10-hour detour.
Just at a quick glance, there's like 5 games in my top 50 here. This is amazing. Great job.
I mean, I saw Thunder Road right there, right? I mean, that's one of my favorite games.
Being overshadowed by Heat, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, Heat's fine.
And it's like a scavenger hunt. What do you I Spy?
Yeah,
There's Remix right there.
That's awesome.
Yep,
that's awesome.
So yeah, this was actually a lot of fun. Getting these games, I went to our friendly local game store, Mission Board Games. They're wonderful, and I got to spend $1,200. They did also $500 donation. So this was about a $2,000 shopping spree that I got to just go around a game store and be like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this. It was really fun.
Yeah, I bet that felt good. Like, ooh, I get to buy all these games. Like, whatever I want.
Was great.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I think it's really exciting what you're doing. I hope that your conventions continue to be a huge success, because that sounds like a blast. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have a couple of small things around us that pop up every once in a while, but nothing to your level. That is some next level stuff right there.
Yeah. It's been a lot of years in the making, but we finally got it to a point where we're pretty happy with it. It's a good time.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for all you do for the board game community. Anybody that is watching that hasn't subbed, please go check them out and then consider giving them, just blindly sub and then consider unsubbing if they make you mad. That's what I recommend.
That's true.
Yep.
Oh no, we'll make you mad. Don't unsub though. You don't have to watch it. Just sub.
Just sub. Comment. It's fine.
That's what I say all the time, right? Like, don't
no interaction, bad interaction.
Ignore this and just sub.
Yeah.
You know,
like
sub for Mike and Bob.
If you don't like us, leave a mean comment, because we have our mascot. His name is Hansa. You might know him from the game Hansa Teutonica, and he loves to read your comments. And the more negative they are, the more likely they're going to get on the show.
Oh, even better. So everybody go and leave troll comments then.
Yeah.
100%.
Man. All right. I just played Hansa Teutonica last weekend too. Well, not for the first time, but again, love that game. Yeah, Bob, you missed a lot of fun games on Saturday. I love it, Daniel. I think Mike agrees with you. Whereas like it was fine, but
it was fine. Yeah.
But I'm a fan. But anyways, guys, this was awesome. Thank you so much again for another fun week. Daniel, thank you for being an amazing guest. We will do this again. But you know, for the board game rundown, I've been Tim,
Bob,
Mike,
and Daniel.
Yes, we did it. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.
See you around the board.
Good job, Stonemeyer. A 7.33333 repeating. 333 heating. 333 heating. 333